easier to ask for forgiveness than
Surprise
permission.
circumcisions usually go over well.
Well, I mean, it's better than, hey, we're going to cut something off of your penis.
Well, when you say it like that, are we ready?
Oh, oops.
Took off a little much.
Circumcised
A little
you.
too much off the top.
I think that's a good place to start. Hello, everybody. Welcome to 4Player Podcast, episode 497. It is March 23rd, 2017. I am Nick Henderson, and I am joined this lovely evening by Brad Simons.
Greetings.
Who is video game bummed.
Yeah,
We'll ask you more about that in a second.
Yeah.
Nolan Hedstrom
Hey, everybody.
and Christopher Guthridge.
Hello.
And before we get started, I want to just say, I forgot to do this last week. If you are a listener to the show, if you've been listening for a while, or if you're a new listener, doesn't matter. If you could take a moment out of your day to wander on over to iTunes and leave us a review, that would be great. We'd really, really, really appreciate that. Now, with that said, before I get into feedback, Brad, what's wrong? Why are you feeling video game bummed?
I went into a GameStop today and I canceled.
That's the problem.
I had already paid off Mass Effect Andromeda, and I just canceled that pre-order.
Now, did you cancel it because of reservations about playing the game, or did you cancel it because you just know you're not going to have time?
I guess mainly the latter. I mean, I am eventually going to play this game. I mean, it's me sort of realizing I have no time. Maybe I won't even have that much time in the future. I'm bummed. You know, there's all these games. You know, I don't have time to play them. Am I going to have time to play them down the line? Is this going to... Which one of these games is going to be the Dishonored 2 of this year? Or the Deus Ex Mankind Divided?
You didn't play Dishonored 2, did
No,
you?
I didn't fucking play it,
Neither
Nick.
did I. I played an hour and a half of it.
I only played like 3 missions of it.
What is wrong with you people?
There's too many fucking games.
Stop
Yeah.
yelling.
Oh my.
Nick, this is what I was talking about when I was like, I swear to God, I would be so happy if there were literally no more games this year.
Yeah.
I would be so happy just so I could
Can we just
fucking
take
play some
2018
games.
off?
Yes.
For catch up?
Let's take a year off of gaming because there are...
Well, I mean, no. We don't take a year off. They take
No,
a year
that's
off.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Games
saying. Just no games come out. There's
Cancel,
no games.
cancel E3 next year. Just
No,
okay with
E3
that.
could
I
still
love playing
happen,
old
but it'll
games.
just be a giant picnic and volleyball tournament. No games.
yeah, that'd be great.
No video
One thing I would love to do with all the people I run into at E3 is just play volleyball with them.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Anyways, before we're going to talk about Mass Effect Andromeda today. We're going to talk about a little bit Nier
hold on.
Automata.
What's been going on with everybody else? I saw Beauty and the Beast.
I did too.
I watched that.
Dude,
It was
like
a completely pointless
You know my
movie.
favorite part of the movie? I laughed so much.
When the Beast farted.
No,
did that happen?
No.
maybe.
What?
When Beast started singing, he had like a solo song.
Oh, that's right. Anytime they sang a song
Because-
that wasn't in the Disney
Yeah, no, because
original,
this wasn't in the
it was
original
so
movie.
weird.
And it was just when all of a sudden Beast starts singing, I just started laughing. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Well, you knew it was
Dude,
coming.
No, I didn't. That
So,
didn't
like,
happen in the original. Beast never
They're
sang.
adding songs to Beauty and the Beast. And
Yeah.
They're taking songs out of Mulan. Like
Yeah.
they can't just stop fucking with it.
I didn't really like the movie. It felt so pointless, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it was just shot by shot, the original, but not
I mean,
the original. The songs were largely the same, but not nearly as good. You know,
Dude,
it just
they're kinda like
it,
just-
it was like, what are they even doing here that does anything that the original movie didn't do? But like,
Wasn't that live action Jungle Book movie the same way too?
No,
Live action Jungle
not
Book
at
was
all.
very
Really?
different.
yeah,
Very different.
Whoa, I didn't realize this was a
Dude,
big
the one
pro Jungle Book.
The
room.
one reason I was actually
It was
interested in
okay.
watching Beauty
The
and the
new
Beast
one?
was because I was really impressed with how well they did the Jungle Book.
I didn't
live action.
like. The only thing I saw from the new Jungle Book was the King Louis stuff. I didn't like
but
that.
that was
Dude,
like,
it was-
I'm seeing this thing that I saw in this form before. Oh, here's like this crazy take on it. Like, it was great, right? There's nothing in this movie that was like, oh, this is a
Trying
great
to change
version
it.
of that scene from the animated
The thing
There's
is,
nothing-
John Favreau directed Jungle Book.
Favre.
However you want to say his name.
I think it's John Favre.
Favre. And I a lot of the things he's directed I've enjoyed.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast, I don't remember who did it, but it just like
I didn't mind the movie. I liked it. In fact,
How-
I just don't think I can't. I don't know if it justifies its existence.
How was the Gaston
and so
song?
that's another thing. So
That's like my
look
favorite
flat
part.
as hell.
Luke
Really?
Evans, I like him as an actor. I don't think he's a good Gaston.
Oh.
Just there's one, the scene where he's talking about, when I was a boy, I ate 4 dozen eggs, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he's like, now I'm
Every
roughly
day
the
so
size of a
that I could
barge,
grow
but he's
large.
so tiny,
Yeah,
and
he's
like,
like the
Now
Iron
that I'm
Fist
grown, I eat 5 dozen
he's
eggs,
like-
so I'm roughly the size of
we
a
know the song?
boy.
Thank you,
I
that's
love
the
it.
song.
I love
Thank
that
you.
song.
there's
It's so good.
there's other people in the pub who are like significantly larger than him, and that's just like,
Yeah, he looks really scrawny.
he is, and so that's just like, once again, nothing against him. I like him. It's just I don't think he was a good Gaston, and maybe they couldn't find anyone else who was large and could sing, so they had to go with what they had to go with. Who knows?
I watched a clip of him on a British talk show with Wolverine, and they were singing that song. Everyone was singing it, and like Hugh Jackman was like so much better. Like singing the song and like being Gaston like.
He should have been
He
Gaston.
fucked
Hugh
yes.
Jackman got his start on like Broadway.
Yeah,
like,
Hugh
I
Jackman sings and dances like all the time.
I'm sure they both did whatever, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, this guy, like, I don't know. I love Beauty and the Beast. It's like my favorite Disney movie. I didn't expect. I mean, I only went to watch this because Malia went to watch it. She also loves Beauty
I think
and the
all
Beast.
of us saw it because of our significant others.
Actually, it was my idea to see it.
Okay, that's
I am.
I mean, Robin wanted to see it.
I
too,
am
but
kind of-
I didn't have to twist any arms.
That's
to get
why
to see
I
it.
didn't see
I
it.
am kind of an emotional little guy, and I did get a little teary eyed when the part when they were dancing, just because it brought back memories of that original movie.
Sure.
But overall, I was like,
You know,
I probably did not need to watch this movie.
I agree. You know, one thing I wish they would have changed. I wish I would have given Beast a name. Just because it's so
Yeah.
awkward that like she falls in love with this guy
That she
and she
calls
never
Beast?
asks his name.
She's called Mr.
She's
B
always
or
like
something like
Beast.
that. Hey,
That
Mr.
is-
Mr. B.
I never noticed that.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I
then
will
they
say.
get
I will
married
say
then.
this. I did
Also,
find
the
the
clock and the candles sucked in this one compared to the original.
Lumiere and
They were so good in the animated. Here, they were just kind of like, I see what you're trying to do, and you're kind of getting
Man.
70% of the way there.
so cynical.
Oh, that's Brad.
That's not cynicism.
I thought it was.
That's not
I
the
thought they were
definition
great.
of cynicism.
I thought they were great. I mean, then
All
again,
right.
I will tell you this: I haven't watched the original Beauty and the Beast in probably well over a decade, if not
you
more.
need to fix that.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
Or just go watch any of the music numbers or scenes.
Sure.
You know, any
Sure.
of-
All right. Anyway, enough about this.
I will say this: I found the movie to be a little creepier
I
in
am
live
not
action
gonna-
because
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, dude, yeah,
some
the
girl falling in love with a water buffalo.
Oh, and the like Lumiere
the
and the
funny
clock,
thing-
like they all look really fucking weird in CG.
Well, yeah, when they're they're too human looking.
Ugh.
The funny thing is, it's always just, even though now it's more realistic. Just as soon as Belle loves, comes to terms with her love of bestiality, he turns back into a person.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah,
That's
like, oh god,
I was waiting for her to be like disappointed, like,
Dude, what was that one scene at the end when she's like,
Now she can't.
can you grow a beard? And then he does that growl.
Oh, that was weird.
fucking awkward and weird.
yeah, that when you said that was like, there was one point you started laughing. I assumed you were talking
Okay,
about
yeah,
that.
no,
because
that was-
was like the one thing in the movie where I was like, ugh, whoa,
Yeah,
what did they just do?
that wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Anyway,
I bet
anyway.
she was digging it. All right, let's. Whew, now that we've done that, is there anything else? Is there anything else anybody wants to get out of their system before we jump into the show?
Nope.
Crispy.
Not really.
All right.
Wait, so big Disney fans? Who the fuck isn't a Disney fan?
Disney's fucking great.
Who doesn't? Who wouldn't have a heart to
I
not
will
like
tell you
Disney
this,
movies?
Crispy. Go watch The Jungle Book in full. I was not
a good
expecting
movie.
it. It's on Netflix. I wasn't expecting much out of it. I loved it. Loved it. In fact, if it wasn't for that movie, I probably wouldn't have watched Beauty and the
I
Beast.
wanna be like you, baby. I don't know.
Let's just do an hour of Crispy singing
It's a
Disney
cool
songs.
song. It's a
I
cool
wanna
song.
walk like you.
And you know what? They nail a lot of the music in that movie. In the live action version. I
I'd
think.
hope so.
Well, so what's the deal with Iron Fist? He's like really lanky, and everyone thinks that's
Dude,
that's ridiculous.
I don't know.
What's up with the Iron Fist Netflix show?
I saw
Okay,
'cause I don't
there's-
have time
There's like
for
a
it.
meme
I haven't
Okay.
seen it
of
either.
like this guy who almost got cast, and he's like in the gym, and he's like Gaston like, and then it's like they show like the promo art of the Iron Fist, and he's like this lanky little dude.
Yeah, he's very lean.
So they've turned it into a meme. Not lean.
Of course they did.
They turned it
I've
into a
actually
meme
been
of,
watching
like,
the show.
You know, the guy you're worried that isn't going to steal your woman, or
I've been,
you know what I'm talking about.
I've been watching Iron Fist.
How's it going, Nick?
I'm still waiting. I mean, I'm still, obviously been following Twitter, following all this, everyone's talking about this not being the best Marvel series, whatever, and I'm watching it, and I'm enjoying it. I keep waiting to be like, especially when like a fight scene happens, because a lot of people have been talking about the choreography.
Yeah.
I keep waiting for it to be like really noticeably bad. And while I think it's less inventive than like especially Daredevil in its choreography, I keep waiting to be underwhelmed, and I'm not. Like some of the fight scenes in that show have been super cool. I'm only like 5 episodes in, and it could fall apart towards the end because I've heard things about them literally trying to tell him how to choreograph those certain fight scenes like an hour before they film it.
Nice.
But so far, I haven't seen any of those in those scenes apparently, because all the fight scenes I've seen so far have been pretty awesome.
Wait, who was supposed to be cast as Iron Fist?
I don't know. I haven't been following the casting of it.
Scuttlebutt.
But
So
it's it has problems, but I'm 5 episodes in, and I'm invested in it.
is it really lo-fi though? Is it a lot of just like
His fist glows,
people like sitting around and talking, and then like a fight
I think there's
scene
a
in
lot
the
of
episode?
ninjas.
there does seem to be more
more ninjas.
there does seem to be more talking than
Dude, like
some of their
Iron
shows.
Fist, like in the comics, when it's good, is like bordering on. I
And
mean,
you know what?
it's touching on the same like the same realms of like mysticism and stuff as like Doctor Strange. Like there's some crazy shit,
And they're
that
they're
happens.
dabbling in that. And Chai Tai points out, because I think him and I might not see eye to eye on the choreography, but maybe the reason why I'm enjoying the choreography a lot is because it is very Bourne-like in the way they shoot the scenes. And some people aren't into that. I obviously love it, so maybe that's why I'm enjoying the choreography.
Is he getting like his chi? Like is he channeling his chi and like
he
glowing
does.
fists?
And he does
everything?
things like they'll go at him with like an axe or a hatchet or something like that, and then he clenches his fist and it glows, and the hatchet hits it and like shatters and shit, and like they do like,
That's cool.
It's cool, man.
He's got
I
the
like
big
it.
dragon tattoo
I'm
on his
digging
chest.
it. Yeah, he does. I mean,
Does he got the mask?
he does not have a mask yet. No.
Damn.
I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I know it probably has problems and it's probably going to fall apart towards the end, but I'm not really enjoying it any less than I enjoyed like Luke Cage or Jessica Jones. I think it's about on par with those, to be totally honest. But
Cool.
who knows? Anyways, let's finally get into the show because we're here to talk about video games. We actually had a lot of feedback from last week, and I'm not going to read all of it because that would take us a while. But of course, if there's anything that we talk about on the show that you would like to chime in on, please feel free to leave us a comment on the post for this episode at 4playernetwork.com, and we will get around to reading it on the next episode. Our first piece of feedback comes from Mr. Greentoast. He says, just to clarify on the whole BioWare situation, which is I'm sure we're going to talk about momentarily, with Mass Effect Andromeda, it's best to know that BioWare Edmonton are what we know as BioWare. They made the Mass Effect trilogy, KOTOR, Dragon Age, etc. BioWare Montreal are a support studio for Edmonton, or they were. They made Mass Effect Andromeda, and Andromeda is their first and only full release.
Yeah.
Almost no one who worked on the original Mass Effect trilogy, especially after, what was his name? The lead, I can't remember. Like one of the lead designers on Mass Effect who was working on this game left the development team in the middle of it. I can't remember his name though.
I don't know.
Anyways, almost no one who worked on the original Mass Effect trilogy has worked on Andromeda, meaning Andromeda was effectively made by the BioWare B team. So
C-Team.
we'll talk more about Mass Effect Andromeda momentarily because we've been playing a little bit of it, but we appreciate the comment. And I have a feeling this might be a theme running throughout some of the feedback this week. From what I've seen of Mass Effect Andromeda, this is from Cobra. It says, from what I've seen of Mass Effect Andromeda, the animations are pretty jank, but I'm hoping the gameplay and story make up for it. I'm going to kind of skip the rest of it because it's more about pre-ordering, and I'll say he followed up by saying, a follow-up to this, after playing Mass Effect, I was right that the gameplay does make up for the crappy animation quality, but oh my god, everyone partook in free Botox injections or something in this game. I won't disagree with you on that. We'll probably talk about that.
We will.
iMac of Death says Power Rangers. It's going to suck.
Some reviews are out.
Some reviews are out, and it seems like he might not be far off.
Yeah.
It's not the 90s anymore. We've moved on from that campy Enemy of the Week beat-em-up style show, just like we've moved on from Reboot, Gargoyles, and Farscape.
Whoa. Who's moved on from Reboot?
I'm just
Some of
quoting.
that stuff is better than Power Rangers.
I'm just quoting the man, okay? And to be honest, I haven't seen any of those shows except for Gargoyles.
What? Nick, Reboot's so good.
That's what I hear. He kind of jumps around a little bit. He says, I like how the creator behind Nier responds to questions about 2B's outfit. Well, like why she wears high heels and her ass shots. And also he wears a mask around in public, and that takes some serious balls. I don't know what he's talking about exactly, but apparently the creator is very open about 2B. I'm assuming 2B is the
This is the main
Protagonist,
female
The chick.
character.
Yeah, he said he likes sexy women.
Yeah.
Didn't someone ask him like,
Yes,
and he was just straight up like, I like ladies.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Yep. That was his answer.
So that's actually spurred quite a long conversation, which we appreciate in the comments. I'm not going to read all those.
Fucking tweet conversation.
What? Come on, Brad. This is a podcast.
I'll try to pull it up, but when we're talking about Nier, I'll bring it up.
Okay. Necro Techno says, Brad,
Yes.
why do you hate Vegemite? Your Australian listeners, all three of us, are very offended.
I don't think Brad hates Vegemite. He just doesn't love it.
You know, we have tried it in a video for him. Go watch. None of us like
I
it.
think Crispy has
Bro,
tried more of it
I
than
really hate
anybody.
Vegemite.
Oh god, I still have nightmares about watching
I
Crispy
still
squeeze
remember
that into
the
his mouth.
taste.
Oh, it kills me inside. Drew327 says, I remember in the last few weeks, Nick was sarcastically hoping that one of the big games coming out would be bad because we don't have time for all these good games. Wish granted, Mass Effect Andromeda. I commented on this, and I don't necessarily agree with you entirely on that statement.
I think someone tweeted at me about that. I don't remember who. Someone tweeted like, "Oh, finally a bad game," and I was like, "This game's getting what, like 70s?"
It's like 70s, maybe even some low 80s.
I said, that's not bad to me. When I was hoping for a stinker, I was hoping a game would get like a 50.
Yeah, like,
like just like straight
and that's what I
down
said
the
in my
middle, yeah.
response is that we haven't had a flat out like stinker yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had this is the first game, and it's kind of like it's you know, maybe a little, it's underwhelming in some parts, and I think that's, you know, we've had a lot of fucking fantastic shoot for the stars releases so far this year, and maybe that's why Mass Effect is standing out.
Like when I'm talking about you know, a stinker, I want like a really highly anticipated game, like a AAA game that we're all excited for to come out and get like Collateral Beauty like reviews. That was like a 12 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Like I want like
Were there any?
Just unequivocally bad.
Were there any
Yeah.
stinkers like that last year? I'm trying to think back to.
I think we
Probably.
forgot them.
I mean, there's No Man's Sky. I don't think anyone. I mean, I will say like mid 70s is pretty like surprising for a Mass Effect game.
Sure.
yeah.
Sure.
It surprisingly disappointing, and it's not even the scores. People are just kind of bummed out in general because, you know, it's like there's so much love for Mass Effect.
But I also-
like that's one of the strongest fan communities out there, man. You go to like PAX and like half the people are wearing N7 shit, man. People are just kind of sad.
But then again, I also feel like
Because we are coming from a world of everything of a year where everything's getting 9s and shit, and it's like, oh, this one just kind of
But here's the thing, like, I feel like a lot of this widespread skepticism or, you know, disappointment in Mass Effect is kind of spreading like wildfire, and like I don't. I
There's
feel
a
like,
lot of baggage.
but I feel like
with
there's a
this
lot of
release.
people. I feel like a lot of people are reading one person's, maybe two people's reviews, and then being like, "Well, this game clearly sucks. I'm not even going to give it a shot myself."
There's so much more to this than that.
well, I mean, it's a complicated situation.
There
but-
are agendas. You know, there are movements. You know, like for the longest time,
Bowel
there are
movements.
people who went into this game wanting it to be terrible,
but yeah,
wanted it to be bad. Do you know why? Because they thought the women weren't pretty enough, and all of a sudden, BioWare is catering to SJWs and stuff. You know, like there is so much baggage with the release of this game. It's fucking like it's hard to have a conversation about the game itself. But to try to distill it down to like this person read this review and maybe he needs to play the fucking game. Like it is so much bigger than that.
Sure.
You know, there are people like looking at people's like work histories at BioWare theying to find
find out who's responsible for certain things.
No, there were people like they found out the woman who was in charge of the animations and the fact that like she was inexperienced and, you know, burn her at the stake. Like it's fucking horrible.
By the
weren't
way,
they
they were
wrong?
wrong about that.
I know, but
I know.
What I'm saying is there's a movement out there trying to like take down this game.
Yeah, I mean,
And then there are just critics out there who are like, you know, it seems kind of budget. There are people out there who are like, it seems kind of like not the Mass Effect that I fell in love with. It's just.
And we'll talk about it. We'll talk more about Mass Effect in a second.
But there's a lot going on.
But there's also people like Robin played it for fucking 12 hours yesterday, and she's loving it. Joel's
get a job.
Joel's playing it for a Mass Effect game for the first time in his life.
Well, Joel's a fake gamer girl, so I mean,
He kind of is.
Wait, did you say gamer girl?
Yeah,
fake
Joel
gamer
kind
girl.
of is.
Well, just I've talked to. I mean, a lot of people on this couch are enjoying it despite its flaws.
Dude,
Point
it's-
is, we'll talk about it.
it's this whole thing's a fucking mess.
have
Also,
one more bit of
remember,
feedback.
with reviews, those are people who've played like 60 hours of it. So we'll see. Some people are very like bright-eyed optimistic when it comes to like starting a new game, but by the end of it are kind of, I feel like we all process that in different ways. Some of us going a little more skeptical than others. Some of us going, a lot more high on it. And
I think that's fair. I have one more bit of feedback, and then we can actually talk about Mass Effect Andromeda. This one's from one Mr. Boy. He had a comment last week too. I can't believe Brad remembered giving me shit over Alan Wake, considering it was years ago. I mentioned it during an impromptu round of Chatter of the Week on a week that David was gone. Brad remembering that on last week's podcast made my day. Further proof that this is the best community out there.
Okay.
it's the best community out there because you're a part of it, one Mr. Boy.
Oh man.
Oh, that was so sweet.
It's amazing that Brad can remember literally everything he said. Or sorry, he can remember every time he shit on someone.
What?
Oh, that's the same statement. Never mind.
Oh, that was brutal, Nolan.
You're
All right.
mean, Brad. You're a mean man.
All right, are we ready? Let's do this. Let's talk about it.
I cried during Beauty and the Beast.
Still?
Huh?
Like even the new one?
Yeah.
He was saying he cried when Gaston died because he thought he was the good guy.
It's fucked up.
I'm just kidding, Brad.
I do feel like
What?
they tried really hard to make it seem like he deserved to die in this one.
A little.
In the original movie, it's like whatever.
I need to go back
Let's
and
not
watch
talk
the
about
original one.
movies.
Apparently,
Yeah.
maybe I would have liked it less if I had just rewatched the original.
Wasn't he a huge prick in the original too?
He was a prick, but he was
Yeah.
like a cartoon prick.
Did he straight up try and leave someone for dead in the
No,
original?
he
yeah,
did
No,
not.
he didn't.
he straight up. Yeah,
He was like throwing around racist slurs and stuff in this one.
Yeah.
Maybe
God.
not. Maybe not.
He was pretty
He's
bad.
talking about wanting to build
I
the wall.
kill the beast. I hate black people. It was
Wait,
just,
what?
That's pretty close.
I'm just saying. man.
That's a quote from the movie.
The one thing that was nice was they made Lumiere a little less. I don't know the best word to use, but except rapey. Like in the first movie, like he was all like Lumiere was like all up in that. What was the feather duster?
Oh
And
yeah, no.
But
he-
in this, they actually made it like mutual.
no, he was kind of like
was his wife
he was
in this
kind of like
Yeah.
this the skunk,
Inappropriate.
yeah,
the skunk from
Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le
Pepe
Pew.
Le Pew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wouldn't take no for an answer.
yeah.
But in this, it was
Oh,
completely
man.
mutual. Like
Yeah.
even
All
though a
right.
feather duster and a candlestick.
You know what bothered me the most
really
about
go
that movie?
together.
I know we're going to stop talking about Beauty and the Beast for a
let's just make
second.
this
Do you know what bothered me the most? They did the whole "Be My Guest" song.
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
yeah.
She didn't get to eat.
That's also like the original Nick. She doesn't eat.
Really?
Yeah, they like
Son
They
of a
sing
bitch.
about eating and then they whisk her
For the love
off.
of God, you're singing a song about her being your guest in your house. Fucking let her eat. She didn't get to eat.
They made it a little more obvious in this movie.
that'll-
Yeah.
That like she
Sing
literally
you
is
off
trying
to
to eat. and
She's
they
trying
take
to
away
go
from
for
her.
it, and they keep taking it away. And it's just like, why do you want her to be a guest if you're not going to treat her like one?
Well,
What
it's
the fuck?
because it was a magical castle and all that food hadn't been replaced in 10 years.
But it's magic.
They didn't want her to eat it because she would die.
It's
magic food, though.
Serving. He's nothing
Oh, I'm
without
sorry,
a
Krispy's
soul
singing
to
again.
wait upon. Sorry.
All right, I'm sorry. I didn't make an overlay for
Can't
Beauty and the
help
Beast.
I can't help myself.
All right. Anyways, let's talk about Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, okay.
We're at
The animations.
All right, we've gotten that out of our system. The animations are
Let's all
are
agree
awkward.
that they're not good.
I saw a GIF.
All right, hold on. I do want to bring this up because this was a big part of my cast.
Oh,
Because
my
I played
goodness.
it for a little over 4 hours.
I can't believe you made that hideous character.
I think she looks amazing.
Whatever.
She grows on you, Nick.
Dick Ryder.
Yeah. No, I was
what
gonna
he
name
named
her
her?
Dick Ryder,
Oh,
but
you
then I
did?
didn't.
I thought you
No, I named her Sarah with an H.
Yeah.
Oh,
you fucking.
Sarah.
You. Oh my god.
But anyway, I did want to talk about the animations. And so, this is always something we've kind of talked about in general with the Mass Effect series, is that alien races, like non-humans, always look better.
Yeah.
Because, whole Uncanny Valley thing. A Krogan looks like a Krogan. That's what they're supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Who else knows? Like, whatever. So one of
They're
my
already hard to look at.
Exactly. One of my bigger problems with this game, and it happened, it didn't happen until I got to the Nexus.
Which is essentially the Citadel.
Yeah,
Right.
it's the same thing as the Citadel. Was, and because that's when I really started, seeing non-human characters. Because the first, section, you're
very
all humans.
human-y.
Because you're on a ship of humans.
Yeah.
It's a ship of humans who are traveling to the Nexus to meet up with the ships of other races.
Real quick, before you go any further, just kind of a general premise of this. For people who are unaware of how this game is the conceit behind it, I suppose, is that these are humans that or these are multiple races that are being sent millions of light years away to try and chart new planets to inhabit.
Yeah.
In the Andromeda
different
system.
galaxy.
In a different
Correct.
galaxy. So they've literally been in cryosleep for 630 years, being sent to try and find new planets to live on. And that's kind of the whole conceit.
Trying to find habitable planets.
Yeah. And they all are sent into the future, and they meet at the Nexus.
Correct.
That's kind of their meeting point.
And so, the whole first, several, at least hour and a half.
Yeah.
Maybe all humans. And then you get to the Nexus and you start meeting some other races. And, my problem was all of the humans in this game don't have souls. It just seems like they're just kind of staring. I swear to God, when you're at the Nexus, walk up to any person.
Yeah,
and
well, we talked about that
looks
when we
like
were-
they have dead eyes.
When
and
we
they're-
first talked about the animation, because there was a big discussion about it prior to release too, and that's what people were worried about, and that is, I think, probably the biggest problem here, as far as animations go, is their eyes
hold
don't
on.
emote.
That's for the humans. As soon as I met my first
Solarian?
not Solarian, is that
Turian.
Turian. My first Turian conversation. His pupils are moving around. He's talking. He's and I'm like, why the fuck do they look normal?
Kandros.
Huh? Yeah,
Kandros,
Kandros.
yeah.
And when you first meet Kandros, and you can see his pupils. When you're talking at someone, when you look at them, your pupils are locked onto them. But when you're having a conversation, your eyes will drift around a little bit. They don't just stare dead straight ahead.
Unless you're creepy.
Yeah, and I go back and look at some of my stream from the other night. I walked around the I was about to say the Citadel, the Nexus, and every single person I came up to just has dead eyes. They just stare. Every human. Every non-human, their fucking eyes move around. Why? I don't understand.
Aliens do
it's a
seem to
plot
be way
point.
more emotive. It's weird.
Later in the game, they reveal that the human arc was actually abducted on its way to Andromeda,
Okay.
and all the humans were replaced with robots.
And so I will say that is not one. It's not 100% that way. There are a few cutscenes that isn't the case where a character's eyes do emote. Liam, it's one of my favorite characters. I fucking love Liam. Even his it seems like whoever designed Liam spent a year and a half designing him, because a lot of work went into Liam.
Yeah.
One of the first characters you can have on your team. He does not look like someone that was just thrown together.
Yeah.
He's a human.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's a human.
But yeah, I feel like, so I've encountered 4 squad mates so far, and the 2 humans seem fine. The Asari chick seems well put
I don't
together.
like her name.
PB?
Well put together.
I like it.
PB.
Yeah.
It's almost like Phoebe, but it's PB.
I like BB. I like that.
Was meeting any of them when you met Morden for the first time?
No,
I don't remember meeting Morden for the first time.
But dude, nobody.
What happened when you met
Nobody
Morden for the
was
first
like
time?
Morden.
Yeah.
When you meet Morden at his clinic that's being locked down by gangsters, and he's doing that whole soliloquy about how quickly he can kill them all, and nobody expects him because he's a Solarian scientist.
Yeah.
That's right.
Nothing that amazing yet.
And not yet, at least.
Yeah, nothing quite there.
I will say this, a lot of the awkward animation stuff that has come up has been kind of centered. I mean, yes, a lot of the NPCs that you talk to have, dead soulless eyes, but as far as the awkward animations go, a lot of it's been centered around the playable character, the writer character, and apparently when you play as the default writer, it seems to be maybe
Worse?
a little bit worse than when you actually customize your character. So, which is weird. I hate character creators in games, and I was about to use the default because I actually kind of like the way, just from a design standpoint, how they look. But
Sure.
way they animate, not so much.
Have you seen my brother, my Scott?
No.
Oh my
Dude, I
God,
haven't
he's
even met my
amazing.
Scott yet.
Well, you create him.
Yeah, but I haven't seen him in motion yet.
Oh, my Scott's amazing.
Great Scott.
Oh shit. But yeah, so I took a chance and I used one of the someone created like a thread online where they had a whole
That's
bunch
not
of
taking
presets.
a chance.
Dude,
That's just stealing someone else's hard work.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, okay, sorry. Maybe taking a chance is not what I should have said. I should have said I benefited off someone else's hard work, because that's exactly what I did. The only reason I actually customized the character at all is because I had the presets. I knew exactly what numbers to dial in to make a relatively attractive looking character. And I like my Sarah Ryder. I'm also
Because it's
playing
just
as
not Mass Effect unless you want to fuck yourself.
Yep.
I am playing as a female Ryder, which I did not play as FemShep. So
Which
is
I don't even know if like Fem is the way to go in this one. I don't know who's the better performer.
I asked that in our
that-
Discord if there was a consensus, and they were like, not really. So.
I feel like there was a consensus in that original trilogy.
But by the time that had become like the consensus, it was too late. I'd already picked male. So, anyways, yeah. So I haven't had, like Nolan said, some of those NPCs fucking animate really weird.
You
But
know,
like,
it's just I don't know if it's something they can patch. I hope they
There'll be a lot
would
of
maybe.
patchwork.
And I did bring it up last week, and I have confirmed it that this game has humans at least have two eyes. Their eye is open or blinking. That is it. There is no.
I was like,
sorry, yeah. There's no in between. There is no like when you smile, your eyes don't stay wide. They kind of your eyes kind of squint a little bit. That is non-existent in this game.
that is not a concept that made it out of the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah, and then that's kind of something that's frustrating to me. Is
Maybe
that
it's just a thing that has to do with gravity in this new galaxy.
and then like, what is the name of the lady you meet? Addison.
Yeah.
The bitch. Like she blinks like every. She blinks like
Is she the
fucking
one who
constantly.
Is she the one who said her face is tired?
Yes.
I still don't understand that comment.
Yeah, neither do I.
It makes no sense. She's like, I'm sorry, my face is tired. Like,
Yeah,
what?
I don't know.
Why
It's
did you
it's
put that
weird.
in there?
Like I don't understand. I won't.
Was
I
she
won't,
referencing the fact that she has resting bitch face?
Yeah,
Maybe.
no,
or one of the writers on the game was
I'm not I'm,
doing a clever line of about the whack animation.
Yeah,
of
I
that
don't want to
character.
bitch too much about the animations. I do have, I have had some fun with it, just because, every once in a while they kind of walk. You'll see a character walking funny in the background, and if you jiggle your analog stick left and right when they're running, they start doing this weird squat run thing.
It is funny.
But I mean, besides that,
I will give it this. Outside of the awkward animations and whatnot that are not, I do not think they're like super overpowering, but they are definitely there.
Yeah.
But like, I think outside of that, this game looks really nice.
So
I think
yeah,
environment wise, I mean, I haven't been to a bunch of. I've only been to.
you've gotten to EOS right now.
I have not gone to EOS yet.
Okay.
Wait,
how long have you
I
played?
spent like you said when I was.
So you ended up
I spent
staying
like
at the-
2 hours talking to people on the Nexus.
So that's what I was talking about. Like when Nick was asking, he's like, "Hey, Nolan, you're farther. How much farther till I get to combat?" And I was like, "Well, if you're at the Nexus, you can probably get there in like half an hour, or you can do what I did and spend like 2 hours on the Nexus, fucking talking to everybody and getting all these quests and stuff."
And that's what I did.
And
So
that's
like
what I
the
did, too.
Citadel?
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
The
Nexus is the new
Citadel was
yeah.
like you were there for a long time.
Yeah.
So and that's what I was saying to Nick. You don't have to do that in this. Like you literally like right after a few like story related things happen, Sam, like the AI, is like, "Hey, this is going on. Come back to the ship and we can do this." And I just completely ignored that, and I did everything else. And I was like, maybe I will. And then as soon as you go back to the ship, they're like, "Let's go to this other planet." And then it zooms out, and you're on the galaxy map. And then I spent about 45 minutes scanning planets for anomalies and collecting
You
fucking
son of a
minerals.
bitch.
And then I finally went to Eos, which is the first planet you go to, which is where I'm at here. This is the first place you can go to.
Yeah.
And then you get the Mako. I forget what it's called. In
the
this one.
Nomad.
The Nomad. You get it right away. Like literally as soon as you land,
how
which
is
is
that?
nice.
I haven't.
It's good. It's an interesting concept. The vehicle can go into 6-wheel drive or like 4-wheel drive because
drive.
the terrain actually matters. If you're going like up a steep hill, you need to switch to like the lower gear
Oh, so
to
you're
get up the
shifting
hill.
gears and
Yeah,
shit?
and then it has like a boost mode and a little jump mode, so you actually can kind of.
Is it very Inquisition-y, these maps?
Kind of.
They're pretty big.
s-
It's hard for me to answer that because I actually didn't end up playing much of Inquisition, but just the first one, the planet you go to seems pretty large.
Yeah, I mean,
not quite as open as this.
It's very much built around the idea of you using the Nomad to get around, because the maps are big and kind of, sparse. Like there's few areas of interest between large stretches
As
of
they should
open
be.
terrain,
which makes sense in
and
this-
when you're out of the Mako, you're like in radiation and you have life support that you have to manage.
Yeah. So, and if you look in the bottom left, right here, there is a what's the term?
Life support.
Like life support. So whenever you're out of your ship, you'll slowly start taking, because it's a hazardous environment. And so you'll slowly, when you're out of the Nomad.
Yeah.
But when you're in the Nomad, that also has its own life support. So when you're away from, there's some secure zones, some secure areas that provide you with life support, you'll slowly start going down. So you can't just explore forever. And right before I started recording this footage, I actually had come to a place that was a super hazardous zone. And my life support started dropping like super quick. Like if I would have stayed there for like 30 seconds, I would have died. Like it's pretty intense. And so that's kind of one of the, like, and I think that's how they're kind of stopping people from spending too much time exploring the nothingness. Like they're kind of like, hey, you know what? It's a big open land, because if it wasn't, it would be kind of silly. So here's this big open land. Like right here, I encountered some random enemies, and I just wanted to check out what was going on. I found, some minerals or something that I could collect.
Does it feel like you're in like a sectioned off part of the planet?
The only reason it feels sectioned off is because at least
I did like 2-3 hours worth of quests on EOS, and I still haven't
Okay.
gone to the edge of the map.
So that's what I was gonna say. Like I spent a good 3 hours here. I still a lot I haven't explored yet. And like I said, here's a section of a pod drops down and creates a life support zone. Which is also a fast travel
Is
point.
that sent from the Nexus or something?
Yeah.
Yes. Or
Sounds like you need
no,
a bit
it's
more
not from the Nexus.
only
It's not
played
sent
like
from the
2.5
Nexus.
hours.
Wait, no, it is.
they
Sorry,
are.
it is sent from the Nexus.
Because the Tempest is on the
Because
planet.
the Tempest is on the planet, which actually creates a fast travel point, which is nice. I don't plan on fast traveling constantly, but it was nice because later on, I went to kind of what ended up being a dead end section of the map. And I was like, man, I got to go all the way back. Oh, I can just fast travel to this point.
Yeah.
Which actually loads pretty quick, too. But yeah, and one of the ways they kind of limit you from exploring the entire map while you're there, at least in this instance, was they gave me that extra hazardous zone that I couldn't yet explore. I don't know when I will be able to. But yeah, so the exploring in the Nomad is cool. You get some quests, you go around, you can do mining like in the other game, but you can see right there, I actually found a spot that has a lot of minerals. There's like a little mining chart on the top left, and I was trying to find the best spot to throw down my
Miner?
drill,
Yeah.
which flies down and will drill for resources, and you need those resources for
crafting.
Yeah, this is another game that's similar to Neo. There seems to be a lot going on. You can
That's especially prevalent or obvious in like the UI. And when I
Yes.
feel like the UI is like super kind of overwhelming.
it can be. Yeah, no, there's a lot going on. So you can research things.
I'm talking menus too.
Yeah, no, and there's research and development. So development is you can take like blueprints and you can craft things that you can then use. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know yet. Development versus research.
So development, you earn research points by scanning stuff,
Yeah.
and then you go into development to make blueprints with those research points.
Yeah.
Or you go into research to make blueprints with those research points, and then you go over to development. You can take those blueprints, use minerals that you mine, like resources that you gather
build
in the
the
world,
things in
to
the
build the things that you researched.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. There's a lot going on, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I like it. There's
I kind of feel the same way about this as I do, maybe to a less extent as you said, as Neo, because it does feel kind of like feature bloat or
once
but
again,
not to the point where I feel like it's a detriment. It's just kind of overwhelming.
I would say it's not as bad as Neo, and
Neo's got
to
a
the point
fucking
where
lot.
I'm not like in Neo. Your item limit was 500.
Yeah.
And I filled that up pretty quick. This your item limit's like 25. But I mean, resources like minerals don't count as items. It's like weapons and mods and stuff like that. You can only have so much, and you can expand that. But I haven't felt so overwhelmed yet.
One thing, and I'm not sure if you upgrade this at any point in the game yet.
You can upgrade a lot.
But the jetpack seems super.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it really is just kind of like a quick spurt.
It's a big jump. Yeah,
It's a big-
not,
but-
in the original, some of the original video we saw, they were jetpacking for a little bit longer. So I would assume
That you're
probably
gonna-
you can
You want to
upgrade
go
it.
full on Boba Fett?
Exactly,
Man,
yeah.
The moment I was back in the Nexus and I didn't have my jetpack, I was
Oh
like,
my
no,
God, I hated it.
It was
When you
killing me.
like, because the first part of the game you are exploring,
Yeah.
and then you go to the Nexus and you're not wearing your suit, so you have no jetpack, and it's hard. It crushes your heart when you can't jump and you can't sprint anymore.
Remember that game
Or
Dark
boost.
Void?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
game it's all about like you're the fucking Rocketeer,
Teslas.
and then there's all these parts of the game where they just you don't have a jetpack.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, what are you doing?
So
Yeah.
I wanted to ask y'all what kind of classes aren't as relevant in this game because you can kind of do everything eventually.
I
But
went
what did y'all
gone-
choose?
I'm going full biotic.
Biotic?
I've only invested.
Okay, so
in
I'm biotic as well, and as y'all can see here, the skills I'm using, I have a throw ability, which
pull yet?
I have pull, but I'm not using it right now. So I have throw, which when you hit a target, it sends them flying, and I can't wait for the upgrade.
It's kind of homey, like homing.
It does home. So, which a cool thing about that is if a target ducks below cover, you can aim a little high, and it will arc around and hit them.
Yeah, which is nice. Because like in that, if I remember correctly, in the original trilogy, don't you have to be way more accurate with your biotic?
Can I ask y'all something?
What's up, bro?
How do people not just play Vanguard in this series?
So hold on. So you can though. Like I chose like biotic as my thing, but I can literally put all the points I want to into like Vanguard abilities.
Remind me
Because
what
Charge
Vanguard
is
was.
literally
Vanguard.
the coolest thing in Mass
Hold on,
Effect.
Cora.
Vanguard
Cora
is-
is a Vanguard.
It's
Okay.
biotic with combat.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So,
a biotic command.
Brad-
Most importantly, you have the Charge.
The charge, yeah. And Brad, I put points into charge. You can get it.
Yeah.
Like whatever. It
does give you more freedom.
Yeah, you have a lot more freedom.
Because like the way I played those old games, like I hear people talk about like, oh, I take cover, oh, I'd send out my drone, oh, I'd be sniping dudes. Like I'd be playing a different game, fast and loose, dashing, shooting, getting the fuck out of there, dashing to that guy. What the fuck?
leave my
And
rider
it's
alone.
it's like that was a different game, and that's why I always stuck with Vanguard, and I'm glad that stuff's still in this game.
Yeah.
But I'm like hanging back, chunking like blue grenades. How do y'all do
Nah,
it?
dude, I like doing. I mean, I like going full biotic because I do like the fucking singularity, grab like
That's
like
what
grab people
Liara's
into
for.
it, and then well,
Liara's
You
not in
don't-
this game,
you don't-
It's
bro.
not here.
yeah, shut up, dude. And then like when it's like holding people in the singularity, you can throw one of those throws at it, and it does a biotic combo and like does a shit ton of damage
It'll
to
throw
everybody.
all
that's-
of them.
Yeah, I mean, the way they've built the upgrade or the character progression system in this game is, it's less. You're not picking a specific class as much as you're just like picking your starting abilities and then building your character from there, however you want. Because you can put points into any number of abilities. Any number.
I don't like that, but
Hold on, Brad. The way
they
the way they limit you is you can't get everything in the biotic tree or the Vanguard tree. What's the Vanguard called? It's not Vanguard in this. It's called something else.
Yeah,
Is it Vanguard?
there's Vanguard. Yeah, they have all the classes from the original.
Okay.
They have Soldier, Vanguard, Adept, Technician.
security.
I don't remember seeing the
Oh,
word
that was a
Vanguard.
background. I don't remember.
I don't remember seeing the word Vanguard. But anyway, so Brett, you can't just go in there and choose everything. So you can unlock some skills right away, but some of the more advanced skills, you can't do it until you put enough points into that tree.
Yeah,
And so that's how they limit you. So you can, I guess,
but you can still swap all that stuff out, right?
you can respec though.
Yeah.
So yes, you can change all of that out.
Oh my god! Sorry.
Leave my rider
The
alone.
lips. The fucking lips.
What's
Has-
wrong
has
with
anyone
what's
made
wrong
a-
with some DSL?
Has anybody really nailed
That
a
is
Winona
way
yet?
past DSL.
I nailed what?
A Winona yet? That's who I want to make.
No,
Like Winona.
Winona.
Yeah.
because rider.
Oh, Winona Ryder.
Yeah. I don't know, Brad. Probably. Google it.
So one thing, just to shift gears here a little bit, kind of one of the things I wanted to talk about, and this is something that Krispy, you brought up before we were recording, is at a more basic level. And this is obviously very early. I've only spent like 3, maybe 4 hours with the game, so probably
You
not
said
even,
2.5.
yeah, probably 2.5, 3, I don't know, somewhere in there, not very far. I feel like the conceit of this game, the setup, the basic premise of it, is more interesting to me than the original trilogy.
It's great.
Which sounds crazy to me. I want to see what this is because
I mean,
the
It's
conceit of the
fantastic because like I'm coming at this. Mass Effect has a lot of modern sci-fi influences.
Yes.
I don't think I think it's a relatively safe assumption to say that like a big part of that influence is probably Star Trek, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I can
like
see
the
it.
whole like space crew exploring space, like, you know, all that shit, right?
Yeah.
This is the most like Star Trek-y story of like any they've ever done. This one's all about this isn't about like defending the galaxy from some weird existential threat. This isn't about like building armies. This is about going somewhere that nobody from the Milky Way has ever been before and exploring and like setting a new home. Like it's like the tone of it is just so much better to me. Like I fucking love that whole idea. The idea that you have like these very contained populations of races from the Milky Way all making this journey together and the politics that kind of crop up between them.
And the fact that everybody that's on this voyage chose to be there, like volunteered for it for any number of reasons, like knowing that going into it that they're going to be
None of them
one,
didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
Right.
Like anyway, like everyone on this voyage knew going into it that they were going to have to basically sleep for 600 years.
Yeah.
And when they came out, you know, their entire world's going to be different. They're not going to know anything. They're not going to know. They're gonna know that their family that they left behind or friends they left behind are gone. Like they're taking a huge sacrifice, personal sacrifice to do this, and that just in and of itself seems like fodder for like a really great space drama.
And so this is my big dilemma. Like I rented this game because I wasn't sure. I saw
Yeah.
the reviews and I'm like, those reviews aren't so bad that I would just say no. So I wanted to check it out, and I rented it and I streamed it the other night. And then, you know, I was thinking about it today. I was like, you know, I kind of am enjoying it. And I'm at that current dilemma of I don't know what I want to do. Because, first of all, there's too many other fucking games.
Yeah.
And I don't want to start another massive game when I have other ones I need to finish. But, like, Chrissy, so you finished the reason you go to EOS, right? That mission. And so I don't want to get into spoilers about that mission. I actually cut the stream, like, kind of right as I'm starting that big chunk. But holy shit, like what goes on down there, I really liked. Like I liked the art. Yeah, I like the design of you go into this kind of underground area that you know no one knows about. It's alien to them.
Like just seeing any of their reactions to anything that they're finding for the first time just seems cool.
But I'm saying what they find is cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Like
that's
like,
exciting. Cool.
Like because I was recording this footage last night, and I was like, you know, I'll play a little bit after recording, and then you know I kept going, and I was like, this kind of makes me want to play this game.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I really enjoyed what I encountered. It's a situation where the problem is when I play a game like this, you know, you're this writer character, you know, you're the Pathfinder or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you're the problem solver.
Yeah.
And so everyone's like, oh, you know, I'm being accused of
Yeah.
murder. Help prove my innocence. And all these side missions that, like, I'm like, I want to do
the
them
Inquisitor.
all. But yeah, essentially you are the Inquisitor. I want to do them all, but then I also know at the same time I can't. Like, that's just too much.
The whole lore idea of the Pathfinder and like the role they play in the initiative is like super fucking cool to me. Like this, you have essentially a group of like 100,000 people who are, well, maybe a little more than that if you count the people in the Nexus, who are forming a new society of explorers. So it makes sense that like the most like revered, venerated member of that society would be like the chief explorer.
Yeah.
Like the chief, like, you know, the Pathfinder. Like
Yeah.
it's such a cool like social construct that they've made. I mean everything about like this world and this new like social order that they're creating is really, really fascinating to me. What I don't know is how far the game's gonna take that. Like some of the cool ideas that I'm thinking of that like I'm sitting there playing like, oh my god, wouldn't this be cool? Like the idea of like I was thinking things like, so they have this entire fleet of these massive ships who are flying towards this other galaxy. The idea, you know, like you said, they're all in hibernation for 6.5 centuries, and then they come out of it and they're like on the other side, right? Well, what if one of those ships came out of you know whatever their FTL is too early, and they had to make like a 200-year journey at relativistic speed?
Yeah.
Like, so they get there, and everybody else is like, oh, great, we're here. We woke up, we're all good. And then another ship shows up, and it's filled with, like, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth generation descendants of the people who left.
Yeah.
And like their whole culture has like been on this ship and been about this like journey of getting to Andromeda. So everybody gets there and they're like, oh, thank God we made it. And then this one ship shows up and it's like a religious pilgrimage for them. And those are all like the weird
You
people.
were making up some cool shit.
I know.
This-
But like the potential
Oh
for
God,
that
you're
shit.
setting yourself up for
The potential
disappointment.
for
You are
that is
so-
so cool.
you gotta stop
But
it,
like,
though.
but I like they're probably not gonna do shit like that. Like they talk about in the lore too. They talk about another ship that was supposed to leave that didn't make it in time. It was supposed to be a Quarian led fleet that was gonna have like Hanar and Elcor and stuff in it. That they didn't meet the mark for the rest of the initiative leaving. So, but what if that ship
Didn't
shows
meet the
up like?
budget.
What if that ship shows up like in 100 years and they're like, hey, we're here, we want to be part of this too, and then like everyone on the Nexus is kind of like, what do we do with these people? I don't know.
ideas.
Like,
You fuck 'em.
Like there's really cool. There's really cool potentials for stories to be told that might not be covered in this
And
game.
I think you're.
My history with Dragon Age is potential,
yeah,
augmented by the books.
yeah,
You're playing a dangerous game, Krispy.
yeah. I know.
I want to talk about something.
But I will say this: I would play that game.
Yeah, I agree. This scanning function, I love it and hate it. I love it because it's an interesting concept. You know, you're scanning things and you're learning things, but like I feel like I have to turn it on every 5 seconds because I'm gonna miss something.
Yeah, I feel like there's another game.
Remember in Inquisition where you were doing the pulse?
I would
So you
prefer
didn't-
the pulse over this.
Really?
Well, so the problem
I hate
is
the
you
pulse.
can't be
This-
moving when you
this
activate this.
completely,
You have to
like-
stop. You have to press down on the
you have to
D-pad,
walk.
and you have to walk and you scan. And like the
and it
thing,
restricts your camera angle.
yeah, it restricts
like,
your camera.
yeah.
It kind of zooms in. And the thing is, like Chrissy was saying earlier, you get research points for scanning things you haven't scanned before, and you need those research points to essentially craft things. So without it, you can't do it. So you have to. And I just feel like I'm.
Do you think this is
to craft
inspired
the-
somewhat by like Witcher Vision?
maybe, but it's not done as well.
Yeah.
Witcher Vision's
There's a lot.
better.
Here's the thing, kind of building on what you just said there. Noel. There's a lot of little things that I've noticed so far, and I feel like maybe that's where a lot of criticism might be coming from. And at the end of the day, I feel like I might be going in the same direction. Is that there's a lot of little things here and there that just don't feel
Polished.
as polished.
Yeah.
The game does seem a little rough around the edges. But like I said, like it's the conceit, it's the story, it's the potential for that story.
Characters?
I mean, I've only met.
I want to ask you. Can I ask you all a broad question?
Yeah.
We all love Mass Effect here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 2 is a fan favorite.
Yes.
Y'all love
It is
2.
my favorite.
I love 2. Okay, like so y'all are playing this game. Y'all all seem pretty high on it. Is this as good as Mass Effect 2?
It is way too early to be
No.
making that call.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
no. I'm where you are. Like just where you are.
So that's a tough question.
Does it seem to that caliber?
No, so
I'm gonna go with based on what I played now. I think that's a no.
But shouldn't it be?
But I think maybe I shouldn't even answer that because I feel like it is.
Like our expectations should be there.
My interest. Okay, so my interest in the
How
story.
many years
dude,
since the
My
last
interest
one?
in the story is definitely there. And this is where I feel like this is one of those things where, like, especially with a situation like this, where it is just the criticism, the negativity on the internet has just kind of gotten a little out of hand.
No,
following the
I'm not,
reviews.
I don't even care about the baggage. I'm
But I'm
asking
worried
you
about
from,
the- I'm
based on
worried-
what you play. Does it feel like you are playing the caliber of Mass Effect game that you experienced in 2, in 3 before the ending, whatever?
To
like-
answer
like-
that, Brad, is
really,
is
yeah,
potentially.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you
hold
played
on,
15 hours of
Well,
it.
Brad, to answer your question, none of us hate it. It doesn't mean it's going to be better than Mass Effect 2. It doesn't mean it's going to be worse. It means that we haven't played enough to judge it. Like I said, from what I played, I've enjoyed. Like I
can tell you
want to
this.
play
I
the
can
game.
tell you
what,
this.
what I'm getting at is like there's a lot of baggage here. People are being are shitting on it. People are being very defensive, and I want to make sure that at the end of the day we take a step back and we go, hey, like no, this is not as bad as what you're saying. No, this needs to be as good as Mass Effect is.
Maybe it is.
And after 15 hours, but not on the defensive. Do you think that this is that? I mean, Mass Effect 2 is
I
what?
think-
You could beat it in fucking 20, 25
I think
hours.
this game has a lot of problems, and most of those problems I've encountered so far have been technical. There have been some actual like design, decision making, player experience problems that I've run into too. That I'm just like, why would you do that? Like,
because
a good example of this is something that like really stuck in my craw, and I'm still like having a hard time getting around. Is so I was talking about how this game, like, I feel like is taking a bit more inspiration from stuff like Star Trek, and I love that shit, and I love the sense of exploration and the sense of like, just generally like the sense of sci-fi optimism for the future, like going out into the galaxy, making our like all that shit, right? I love that. First level of the game, you encounter like your first Andromedan race, which turns out to be the antagonists of the game. But that first encounter even is literally like you see them next to a shuttle crash, like a human shuttle crash. There's a human survivor that it looks like they're interrogating, and your Ryder decides like, okay, well, we need to follow first contact protocol. So you walk towards them with your hands up until you get close enough to them that they start firing on you, and then it immediately turns into a gunfight and you kill them. That's first contact in this game. It's not even like a big, like super dramatic scene or anything. It's not. They don't even like give it a cut scene. You walk into the situation and 2 seconds later you're shooting at them. They're dead, and you're like, oh well, we just killed the first aliens we ran into. Oh well, it was them or us. Let's keep moving. You know. So like if oh my god, like if that's really like where they're coming from for this game, like that is like a that
so Krispy, to comment on that, and I know where you're coming from. I completely understand where you're coming from. And I could see it if this was realistic. That being the case, hold on. You're talking about the human shuttle crash. Shit just went down. They're separated from their party and they're wandering around. And yeah, they see someone and they're like, oh shit. Ryder's like, let's follow protocol. Hey, we're friendly. Do you understand our speech? And they all of a sudden start shooting. Oh fuck! Like I gotta shoot back. What am I supposed to do? And so I could see that almost being realistic in the sense that
I'm not saying that's not a plausible scenario, but that is a story moment that needs to be treated with respect by the storytellers, and it wasn't.
I'm hoping that there are other situations that are gonna crop up.
I don't care if the story dictates that, like, oh, we met a hostile race and now we have to defend ourselves. That's fine. Like that happens in Star Trek all the fucking time. You know? That that's a thing. But to just have it be like just this like little waypoint on your tutorial mission between going from point A to point B, it's like, oh, you got to stop in this little shooter section, kill these guys, save that dude, and then keep moving on.
It could have been a more memorable moment.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, that should have been like a thing. That should have been like 634 years of cryosleep, crossing dark space into a new galaxy, the first aliens you encounter, like that should be a thing. And it's just not. It's just not.
I'm hoping
that really left a bad taste in my mouth. But that is actually, technical issues aside, I've encountered some kind of crazy technical issues.
Mass Effect 1's my favorite Mass Effect, and it's a disaster.
That's the first point that this game really kind of like doesn't work for me on a conceptual level, But everything since then has been a lot better. I feel like
are there any characters that
any characters that are just like not
party members that you think are up there with what you expect from Mass Effect, or even like
I didn't really care for Liam at first, but he's growing on me. I didn't
go watch my stream. I fell in love with Liam right away. I like Liam.
I didn't care for him. I felt like him and Cora were both really flat.
Cora's pretty flat,
but they both kind of. Well,
PB, I don't know enough about. I
only just got to PB.
Yeah, no, the PB I literally just met right before this footage, and I'm about to interact with her more right as this footage is ending. I like her so far, but it's one of those things. I played this game for 6 hours, and honestly, like, I would say maybe 4.5 of that haven't been like me with serious character reactions yet. Or interactions
good side characters and moments with those characters can save a game for me. Inquisition is a game riddled with problems, but like some of the characters in that game are some of the best
by the end of the
game.
And so I think in an attempt to get this game moving, like as soon as you get to your ship, the Tempest, you meet the crew, but you can't really interact with them yet. Like they're like, "Hey, I'm this person," and then if you try and talk to them again, they're like, "Hey, we should probably get going."
Yeah.
Because they're trying to get the story going. And so my assumption is, as soon as you finish with EOS and you get back on the Tempest and you go, then you can probably start doing that more. Mm-hmm. I think the game is, I don't want to say slow to start, but they're trying to establish a bunch of stuff, and then they're trying to establish the nexus, and I guess they don't want the game to slow down too much. So that's why they kind of almost when he said Sam is like constantly like calling you, and he's like, "Hey, maybe we should we get things going. Come on now, let's go."
Trying to push you towards those.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to like push you to get the story moving and get that going. And so Chris Davis is confirming what I'm saying. Once you kind of finish the first planet you go to, then yeah, the game kind of like slows down. You can interact with people more.
So I'm gonna say right now, for this, I think right now should kind of show the conversation, because by this time next week, I feel like most of us will play. I know I'm planning on playing a bunch over the weekend.
I see, that's the thing is, like I said, I might return this and then try and play other games, because this is a game I feel like the problem is I might enjoy it. And I don't want to start another 60, 70 hour game when I still have other ones on my the shelf that I'm in the middle of playing.
Here's what I've decided. Because
did you finish Horizon Zero Dawn?
No, what I've decided is
Yakuza, Krispy.
What I've decided is there's so many big games. I'm gonna play them all eventually at some point. So I'm not gonna worry myself with which one I play first.
Like
I'm gonna play Mass Effect. I'm gonna finish it.
What happens when Persona comes out?
Dude, Persona is a game, while I would love to play that at launch, I'm probably not planning on it.
When it gets 9.5s, you will play it at launch.
Fuck you. Can we not talk about that? That's gonna stress me out.
This is the reality of this year.
I know. But you know what? There are worse problems to have. We got great games to play. So let's talk about another one. We'll talk more about Mass Effect. I plan on playing a significant chunk of Mass Effect over the weekend after I finish Zelda, which I'm almost done with. Which, by the way, makes me very sad.
This is the first concept art for Nier Automata.
Yes, I'm aware. So let's talk about Nier Automata. So last week, Krispy. I know you don't want to get into spoiler territory with Nier, so we may not talk about it for too long. But the reason I want to talk to you about it, is because after last week you weren't sure. You weren't sure,
feeling it.
Don't say anything. Just speak in raw emotion.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's apparently got its hooks in you.
So, yeah, last week I just really, again, I've never played the original Nier, so I don't understand where these games are coming from design-wise. Now, I kind of understand it more.
Okay.
I hate to say that I understand anything in this game, because it's really oblique.
What's happening?
Emotion. Use your emotion.
So when we were talking last week about the game, I was really kind of befuddled because, and I think I expressed this, like I felt like I'd put a lot of time into it and I was still waiting for it to start. So after last week's episode, I watched those videos that Brad had recommended to me about the original Nier, about like how that game
Yeah.
is
How that happens,
and what the story is and what it all means and everything like that. And that made me a bit more like optimistic about the game. Okay.
Yes.
It was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's really interesting. I want to see what this game does. So I went home and I watched those videos and then I started playing Nier, and like within 4 hours I beat the game again. Like I beat the game for the first time. And I was not expecting that. Like I still had this. The thing about that video is it does a really good job of telling you like what the original game was like. It doesn't really give you a good idea of like the scope of like how long it was. I was really thinking Nier, because they put you in an open world. They give you all these side quests. They give you all these systems to mess around with. They show you so many things in the game that you're like, okay, I can't do that now, but I'll come back later. Well, for me, that indicates like, okay, this is like a 30, 40, 50, 60 hour game that like I'm going to be doing a lot. I'm going to be revisiting locations. It's a 10-hour game. When you see something that's like, you're going to have to come back to this later, they mean in another playthrough of the game. I did not quite understand that it was going to be like, I didn't get that it was going to be quite like that. I was still thinking like, okay, this is a game that you play through once, you get about 70% of the experience, and then if you want to play a second time, you unlock more minutia and details about that world that kind of fills in that remaining 30%, you know? This is like, you play the game once, you get 20% of the game.
Yep.
You play the game again, you get another 20% of the game.
And that way it's unlike the first one. This is even...
It is so fucking bizarre to fight the final boss, not knowing it's the final boss, and then the game ends and rolls credits, and I'm still sitting there like, I just picked up the controller again. Like, this is my second sitting. Like, what the fuck is going on? And then you start the game, again, like so I have 3 endings now. I have the main A ending. I've got 2 other the like little joke endings, and now I'm on the B track to finish the game for a second time. When you start the game again, it starts completely differently. There's a completely different scene. There are completely different things going on.
What exactly defines the second playthrough as another playthrough if it's just different content?
I don't know that I can tell you. Is the problem.
Like,
I really don't know. Like
for fear of spoilers, or because you don't know?
Yeah, there are fundamental differences in the second playthrough that I don't even know are common knowledge. I don't know what Brad knows. I don't know.
Hacking.
But are you? Is there actually like repeated
but,
story
like,
elements in the second playthrough? Is what I'm.
I'm gonna say something and someone's gonna get pissed off at me, so I don't want to have this
I
conversation.
know you play as different characters.
You do. You play as a different character the second time.
Yeah. No,
like
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like that's fairly
So
no.
A more naked
Okay.
character?
okay, no. So
Okay.
so basically,
I did not know this.
Basically, the first time you play as 2B, and she has her partner 9S, right? Second time you play as 9S.
I thought you were going to say not to be.
And I'm pretty sure playthrough C is a different character.
And it's
as
probably
well.
a different. I think it's. Yeah, there's like 3 main characters in the game, and I think it's the one you encounter the first time.
Well,
through.
that is awesome.
And the thing about that is like 2B and 9S go through the game together, but they are doing different things a lot of the time. And there are entire gameplay, like there's multi-hour sections of the game the first time through where you're just 2B by herself and 9S is off doing something else. You don't even know what's going on.
Do you understand what I was saying now,
And-
like last week or the week before, where there is a certain portion of the community who's been playing this game who's horrified that a critic is going to just play till the first credits?
I don't see how that could even happen though, because the first credits come so fast and you are
Well,
left
10
like
hours.
so
Well,
like
the
you're left so in the dark about what the fuck just happened.
Well, hopefully
like, I
the
don't-
thing is,
and
publishers
the game does, like, as soon as you beat the game, it puts up this big thing that's like, you need to keep playing. You need to reload your game and keep playing.
Not to mention when publishers send out copies for review, they often send like
Notes
that
They'll
say
let you know, hey,
Keep going.
by the way,
Yeah.
before you start playing this game, we wanted to let you know this and this. Make sure to do this. This means this. And so I would assume, I didn't get a review copy of Nier, but I assume that would have came with, hey, by the way,
Right.
when the credits roll, the game's not over yet.
Right,
Keep
but that
going.
again, like, that's what the credits also tell you.
Yeah,
too.
I think
Like,
Leon Claire stuff is a good example.
it's really weird. Like there's.
But you're like,
I mean, it's kind of frustrating because I didn't understand that that's what the game was going to be like. So I didn't do hardly any side quests my first time through.
yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll get to those later. I'll get to these later. I
then
tried
it
to
was
do, I tried to do one like towards the end of that playthrough, and like I had already progressed the story so much that like a lot of the side quests got shut down. So now I'm on my second playthrough, and I'm really trying to get as many as possible, and I'm doing a lot of them. Most of the side quests in this game really aren't that complicated. There's not a lot going on,
But there's story there.
But like there is a little bit of story there.
some of those threads you
It's
need
more.
to see to
It's
through to
more
the
like
end.
emotion. Like these side quests are all like setting up these really conflicted emotional tones.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, there's some fucked up ones. Like I've seen some like fucked up shit, and like. I don't know. Like I don't know how to feel about
But
it.
it sounds like you're having a really
Yeah, talk to us when you get to E.
Yeah, it's,
Because that's, from what I understand,
Dude,
that's
if I
when you finish
fucking
near
get there, man.
those helmets.
but you're enjoying it now. Like you're really
I am. God damn it! Like I hate that question because I'm not doing cartwheels.
Are you
over
enjoying
this
the
game.
gameplay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
You like the combat? You like the RPG systems?
I don't
You
like
the skill
I don't
systems?
like you asking me if I like it. I don't know
I'm
why.
talking about
I
the
don't know
fucking
why. This
gameplay.
game is making me feel
just
really.
this game in
It's
particular?
making me feel really self-conscious about my opinion in this game because I still don't know what the fuck this thing is. I still don't know what the fuck is going
you are
on.
So your testicles are fully submerged in like the story, the lore, the meta. That's fine. I'm asking like what do you
Are
think
you
of the
having-
skill
I
system?
want to keep. I mean, I want to keep going because this thing's like a fucking onion, and
Of
I'm
course,
just
of
peeling
course,
back layers.
Of course. But
And you
what-
just
what-
want to keep like seeing what's going on. The mechanics of the
Yes.
game. Okay, so playing through the second time, I am enjoying it much more.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I like playing as 9S a lot more than I
Okay.
like playing as 2B.
Nines. You
Nines.
savage
Okay.
fuck.
Nines. I like playing as 9s a lot more than I like 2B.
What?
They haven't even brought that up in my second playthrough yet. I
He likes to be called Nine, or his friends call him Nines.
9s.
Oh.
It's
Not 9s.
Yeah, it's his
I thought
like,
you were
nickname.
being weird.
Similar
He,
to
uh,
2B with her ass hanging out, or is his like balls hanging out?
No, but if you self-destruct, he does lose.
Speaking
his
of
shorts.
ass hanging out-
so he's running around with his coat like just kind of hanging over bare legs.
Can
It's
I
really
read this Game Facts post?
weird. Sure.
Here's the topic. I thought this game wasn't SJW friendly? Question mark. Small spoilers. I was playing the game and suddenly the operator girl started going on about her quote unquote lesbian stuff. What? For what purpose? First they mock SJW with the butt stuff, and then they do agenda driven stuff? I'm really disappointed by Yoko Taro.
That's just stupid. That's just really stupid.
It was a
But-
Game Facts post.
Yeah. That's
Why did you give him a platform, Brad?
that's just fucking dumb. But but
How
I
dare
think
you.
I think
It's okay, Krispy.
I think the thing that's really frustrating me is like there's an overall philosophical message to this game.
Yeah.
There's an overall like kind of existential dilemma that Yoko Taro wants you to ponder. But like it's everywhere. It's within 4 hours of my first playthrough. Like I was already steeped in it. So there's no way that that's going to be like some big twist. I don't think there's anything. I don't know. Like I still don't see how he's gonna like jump out and surprise me at the end with anything other than like changes to gameplay. I don't think that the story's gonna change. I don't think that I feel like I understand what's going on way more than my characters do.
Hey, Carlos.
And I don't really understand what's
Carlos,
going on.
can you wiki this shit and tell us if Crispy's gonna be impressed in the end by the
I
story?
don't want to hear.
No. Hey, you know what I hate about Nier Automata?
What?
When you die, you have to get back to your corpse, but it's not like regaining your souls in a Souls game.
I
Because
saw-
like
I saw
oh,
you retweeting
if
that
you, if you
stuff.
lose your souls, that sucks. If you lose your corpse in this game, you lose all of your chips.
That you have equipped.
That is it just the ones that you have equipped?
Well, the ones that you have equipped.
But that's your stuff. I mean,
Well,
that's
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 it's
your
like,
stuff.
It's upping your HP. It's like
but
upping
you
your.
have to understand,
movement speed.
like these chips can be rare drops. You can level them up
Yeah.
and combine
Yeah.
them.
Well, then if-
and like it is not like you losing
I
souls.
also-
It's like losing rare pieces of loot in an RPG.
I feel like you need to keep playing the game
Then just don't
because
equip
that
them.
is just like not a thing for me.
You can't lose
well, I
them
mean,
if you don't
how,
equip
do
them.
you spend much time like
I spend.
like combining
I've
them and leveling
unlocked.
up?
I've unlocked my whole chipset.
Yeah.
And I have my whole loadout equipped, and I fuck around with
You're-
it. Like I
you're-
switch
it's
them
like
out.
a build
I
and
don't
stuff.
die anymore. I have like.
Get good, son.
I have like chips plugged in where like if I stop taking damage for a second, he just like regains his whole health.
Yeah,
Like-
I have
like-
that stuff
like
too.
the
but like
whole-
I got one shotted by a dude, and I'm like, my corpse was next to this dude, and I'm like, I started sweating. Like, what if I can't get back to my corpse?
I have not experienced that at all, to be honest with you. And it
You're
just
just-
doesn't seem like a thing anymore. Like
They also
like the
seem
whole,
to say that if somehow
whole
that
thing.
did happen, apparently just reloading your save before you died.
I guess. But like you find so
Fixes
many
it.
fucking chips in this game. Like I've got so many chips that I've never even touched. You can go buy most of the chips that you have.
Doritos for
Again.
days.
I've just
Like,
found myself dying,
like, it
fumbling
seems
with
like
the
I
D-pad
understand-
to heal.
I understand where like kind of academically like where that's like the pitfalls of a system like that, but in practice like I just don't think it shakes out that way.
Well, I'm just saying, I again, early on in the game, I got one shotted by an enemy. There's one part where I fell down a cliff, and there was like a lot of hard enemies on the bottom, and I was like, oh shit, I don't even want to go back down here, but I had to because my shit.
guess.
But if I could,
I mean, I'm at a point where like doing missions and like beating enemies out in the world is giving me so many chips and giving me so much G, like the currency, that I never don't have less than like 80 large heals on me anymore.
I know,
and I never use them
I've
anymore
died in
because I just
combat
heal myself.
Kind of fumbling with the D-pad, trying to get to the right heal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that
it's a
system
little
isn't great.
awkward. It's a little
It's not great.
awkward, but
But yeah, I really don't like. I don't know. I really don't think that's.
I don't
like,
have too
a
much to
thing.
add. I only played like a handful of more hours. I don't know how far I am.
I don't think that's a. There are so many other things that I'm like
I think-
concerned about with this game.
I think
than that.
we talk about this game again after you finished E, and after
Man,
hopefully
I
I
don't
finished
like.
E.
I just.
Well, don't worry about it. Don't worry about that
No,
right now.
What's this face? This is like I don't know.
I've never
if I
seen
have time
Krispy
for
get this
Yakuza
stressed out.
face or
No man's sky.
This is
you're
like.
panicking over there, and I'm worried.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't.
This game has a very weird effect.
Like
on
I've got to
Krispy.
play this game like 5 more times to finish it.
You
and-
don't know that, man. I mean, you don't know if, like, by the time you get to E, if it really is doing what you're doing
I know.
right now.
I know.
It
But it's
literally
so
made me-
hard
really
to
don't think
judge,
it
that
is.
like,
last playthrough maybe like an hour or
Yes.
something.
I
You never
just
know.
I just would like to be able to enjoy a game without the pressure of you need to finish this like
Oh,
on me. Like
but in this one specifically, you're so, like, you care so much about the lore and the story and where it's going, you kind of do.
God damn it! Way to like just
You know, but
shovel
like,
it on top.
what
of
I'm
Brad.
saying is, like, I'm 40 hours into Zelda, right?
feel like Brett-
I'm eventually going to finish it, but it's not like there's not like this kind of pressure to finish it because what awaits me is more Zelda, and that's great. But it's not the same thing of like, oh my god, what's going on with the story? I need to find out. I'm done. Like you have
Yeah.
to get through it.
that's what I'm saying is like it's really frustrating that like you have to go 100% through the game to get like all of that experience. And like just looking at my track, I don't like it. I'm not proud of it, but just looking at my track record, I'm not a 100% kind of guy. I just don't do it. I just don't
Yeah.
finish that many
But-
games. I
but-
start way more games than I finish.
Think of it this way: you're 40% of the way through, or 35% of the way through this game. Maybe. I don't know. I read NeoGAF a lot, and that thread said that playthrough B is where this game drags, and that once you get through B, it's like
I don't
awesome as
feel like
fuck.
it's drag. Like
Well, then
I don't
that's a
feel
good
like it's
sign.
dragging.
Get ready for
I don't.
se-
No, no,
yes.
no. I don't feel like it's dragging any more than it was already drag. I still kind of feel like I've played 20 hours of this game and it hasn't started yet.
Well, it's
Is
about to
weird.
start.
But like I want to keep going because I want to see that point.
Great.
Like I don't know.
Well, then we'll check in on
I
you in
am
a couple
so
weeks.
fucking confused by this game. I don't know.
Man,
don't know.
I thought going into this episode, I had.
I do,
felt
but
Crispy was
when
less
you start
confused.
putting it under a microscope, when you start like interrogating me about it, like I really can't express how I feel about this game. I don't have an opinion yet.
that is so weird because thought you had, but that's okay.
But we
Don't
think you
worry
will
about
once
it.
you get
I'm
through.
more positive than I was last week, and I'm very interested, and I'm very much into it. And I played it for my stream on Wednesday, and I think that kind of came through.
Yeah.
But like this isn't. It's just so complicated. This isn't like oh, it's a great game. Yeah, it's a shitty game. It's like there's just a lot going on here. There's a lot to consider.
If all games were onions, this would be a little more complicated, a little more,
Yeah.
more layers.
So this is like a
This is like
complex
a big-ass
indie
onion.
flick.
Don't you worry.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
like a
We get ya.
it's like a David Lynch film.
Yeah. It's like how many times do you have to watch Mulholland Drive before
Hey,
you have an opinion about
Here's
Mulholland
what you
Drive?
do, Crispy.
Exactly.
You play
Like-
play some Nier, make some progress, and when you start to feel like weird and conflicted, play some fucking Zelda.
Yeah.
Cleanse that palate, and then go
Yeah.
back. Don't.
That's weird.
Zelda's a great palate cleanser, by the way.
It really
All right,
is.
We need to take a break. When we come back, we'll touch a little bit on Zelda because I know a lot of us have been playing more of that, and then we'll do news. There's some news out there, and then we'll answer some questions from you guys in the community, for our supporters on Patreon. So yeah, if you're watching live, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple minutes, seconds, whatever it is.
Peace out.
We spent like half the break talking about brunch and various brunch options here in the
Bruncheries.
Austin local Austin area. Now I'm kind of hungry, even though I just ate a little while ago.
You know, every time I go visit my fucking parents, I end up seeing like the worst fucking shit movie from the Red Box because I've already seen the movies I want to see, and like I have to find something that my mom and dad would also watch, and it's like, Always awkward.
So what did you get?
Like God's Not Dead
Let's
too.
see. This
The
past
Brunch
weekend,
Club?
I saw the sequel to Jack Reacher, the second Jack Reacher movie.
Is that the one?
I've never seen the first, but the second one kind of sucked.
I was expecting something way different than that.
And I think the time before that, I watched. It's called The Finest Hours with Chris Pine, where he has to go out on the boat during the storm.
Yeah.
He's got to get over the bar. The bar. They keep talking about the bar because it's like in Boston or some shit. Oh, that's. I always watch those kinds of fucking movies. I should talk about them more on this fucking
How did this
podcast.
conversation start?
I was just trying to get us moving along.
By derailing the conversation?
Thanks, Brad. I just want to talk a few minutes, just real briefly. Quick Zelda update.
Wait, before you do that, can I just say I want to clarify something from the first segment?
Nope, too
It
late.
sounded like I was really negative about my experience with Nier Automata, but I am actually really enjoying it, despite my conflictedness with it. It's just a lot to take in and process, but I am really enjoying it. So
Good.
There.
Thank you for the clarification.
there we go.
I hope that. Okay.
I'm sorry. Now Zelda.
Zelda. Zelda's
Riveting conversation.
Yeah, I know. I don't even. We've talked a lot about Zelda.
I
bit.
like to play Zelda.
I'm almost done with it. I mean,
How many hearts do you have, Nick?
I knew this is what this was going to be.
I don't want to have
the Zelda dick measuring
Dude,
contest.
I'm not measuring.
I don't want to
dicks.
measure any dicks. I do want to say
How
I am
many inches
still,
of hearts?
Do you have the Master Sword?
I could go get the Master Sword, but I haven't yet.
Ugh.
I just want to say, my God, this game still fucking incredible. I've unlocked all of the map. I think I've kind of come to terms. It's one of these. It's a game that I'm very sad that I've planned it out. I'm pretty sure I can finish this game on Friday or Saturday. Sorry, today's Thursday. Saturday. I'm sad that I'm kind of at that point where I can finish it if I want to. The good news is, because of the fact it's on the Switch, I feel like it's a game I can finish, and assuming I can still explore after I've finished it, it's a game I can take and just do a little exploration here and there. I'll probably
But
be
you
playing
won't, though.
I'll probably be playing this game. I mean, if I take my Switch with me to, I've been taking my Switch with me to work like every day since I got it. So like,
How are you going to play Has Been Heroes? Or whatever else is coming out. The re-release of
we'll
Mario
see. The point
Kart.
is, like, I can do little things like find the rest of the shrines or and that's kind of stuff I can do.
How many shrines?
100 total. I've found 60.
There's only 100.
No, there's 120.
There's more than that.
120.
120.
Is it? What is with Nintendo and
130
120?
Yeah.
It's
I'm
kind of
at-
crazy to think because I'm doing the Gerudo area, the sand area right now, and it was like 2 regions of the map that I hadn't unlocked. So I was like, oh great, I'm at about 55 or whatever. So I'll get there, and then all of a sudden it'll be like a ton of new shrines to find and solve, and then I'll be like, in the 70s or something like that, and I get there, and I get
No,
to,
Nick, you don't get there.
I get to Gerudo Valley, right? And I get to the highest point. I'm pretty sure one of the highest points on the map. And I just look down, trying to find shrines. Fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Fucking nothing. They're all like hidden.
Yeah, they're like it gets to the point where like the shrines. Oh no, there's so many of them that aren't out in the open.
Yeah.
And there's so many of them that are hidden under caves and stuff. But then there are also a lot of shrines that won't even show up on your map.
Environmental puzzles.
You have to
Yeah.
finish. You have to solve an
I did
environmental puzzle.
the lightning plateau.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
It's great. Like if there really are 120, which sounds about right, that means I just hit the halfway point. I've unlocked 60 exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And the thought that there's actually 60 more shrines out in this world that I haven't found yet blows my
So
fucking mind.
here's the problem, Nick. Is I'm at I think 85 shrines
Yeah.
now. So I finished all the divine beasts, and I was like, I don't want this game to end. I'm just going to go on a shrine hunt, and that's what I've been doing. I've been running around the world finding shrines, going back to ones that I earlier marked when I saw them. There's this one shrine that there was a fucking riddle, and I had to solve the riddle to get the shrine
There's
open.
several like that. Maybe not.
No, like a literal
Yeah.
riddle, not like a riddle like to help find the shrine. Like I know where the shrine is, but to activate it, I had to solve a riddle and do something weird. It's hard to
Are you
explain.
talking about the one about parting the or shooting into the?
No,
Okay.
different.
Well, I know.
I'm talking about a creature with like bones on its head.
Oh, that's
Like
weird.
yeah, like this weird thing. But like Nick, have you done the shrine that's in the southeastern island?
No.
that shrine is probably one of my favorite shrines because the way you have to unlock it isn't just like, oh, go here, do this. It's a very complex and interesting and elaborate thing, but I really fucking enjoyed it. And I tweeted about it the other day, and everyone who replied to it was like, oh yeah, I fucking love that one, because it is more than just, you know, put the ball in the hole. It is more than just it's like a very intense thing.
Well, what I'm planning on doing, because I'm gonna try and finish Ganon. I mean, I'm assuming I can continue to explore. If anybody in chat or on Twitter or whatever can confirm for me that yes, you can continue to explore after you finish Ganon or whatever, that would be great. But my plan is to finish Ganon this weekend, so I can just kind of mark it off my list and then just casually do a shrine hunt for the rest of the fucking year, because that's how long I feel like it's going to take me to do all this shit. There's so much stuff.
I worry about you, Nick.
Why?
I think you're going to finish that game and you're going to be done with it for the year.
Why do you always doubt me? Like,
Track record?
I don't always doubt you, homie.
I mean, what?
If you were to, I wouldn't say like, I bet you're not going to finish Mass Effect. Like, I totally believe you're going to finish Mass Effect. What I'm saying is, because of the nature of this year, which is crazy, when you finish Zelda,
The only thing that's going to stop me
which,
from
I'm
playing...
not saying you're going to rush to the end, but like that. Who does that? Nobody does that unless they're like, huh? Unless they're like in fucking high school and they can't afford a new game.
I like to mark
you already have so many games.
I know, which is why I want to mark one off my list. And I want to finish Zelda so I can mark it off my list.
I think this game is too good for that.
No, but if I can keep exploring casually, I can do that. Like, the only thing that's going to stop me from continuing to explore in Zelda is when something else comes out in the Switch I'm going to play, which I think right now...
Well, you should be playing
I'm
Shovel
waiting
Knight.
for Hollow Knight.
That's not going to be soon.
Which is not going to be soon.
Shovel Knight is incredible.
Sure. Maybe I will play some Shovel Knight, but I'm not in a rush to play Shovel Knight. So I can see myself playing Zelda, before I go to bed and on my lunch break at work for the next fucking...
According to Laucom Pow, you can continue exploring, but you have to reload a save from before defeating Ganon.
Okay, that's kind of what I was afraid of. That's kind of dumb.
I mean, that's like how most Zelda games.
Yeah, I just feel like a world like this seems...
There's been
right
a lot
for
of
exploration. It seems to me it'd be a game where you finish it and then it just opens up.
No,
to you.
I'm just saying from
but...
experience, though, Nick. I've done a lot. I've played many great games where I've been like, all right, I'm just gonna like roll the credits, and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do so much more stuff, and I never do.
Well, not.
I'm sure you've been there too.
Sure, but it's the fact that it's on the Switch is what makes me, because I'm taking that with me to work. I play it for about 45 minutes a day on my lunch break. I've been playing.
But that motivation it might not be there, because a lot of the motivation to get the shrines is to get the upgrades, and to prepare for the ultimate fight.
I just enjoy doing I just enjoy the act.
At some point, they're going to get harder to find, like what Nolan's running into. And
yeah, but it's also one of those things where it's like, if I don't fucking unlock all 120 shrines, I'm not going to lose sleep.
At least
over
get the goddamn Master Sword.
Well, of course I'm going to get the Master Sword. I have I'm also. I want to do the memories. I only have two left. I only have 2 left.
Oh, have those been satisfying?
Dude, yeah, those are great. This is like some of my favorite parts of the game.
They're pretty good. Like, the stories are quite interesting.
Have there been any that are just like, I just have no idea where the fuck this is?
So the
There's
problem
one
is
that just looks like it's in a fucking forest, and I'm like, great.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then
Great.
that's probably the Lost
That's the
Forest.
one.
No, it's
That
not.
painter guy is usually around
Yeah,
to tell you.
I just gotta find.
He'll
But
give you
which one?
clues,
I gotta
yeah.
find. He's usually around like
He's usually at stables near where they are.
Yeah, but
right?
I've talked to him at every stable that I've gone to. So I must.
you don't know what part of the world
must
it
have
is, right,
missed.
right.
Yeah,
You might have missed a stable though.
Yeah.
Like I was at like 60 hours and I'd already found all the map, and I found a stable I'd never been to before.
Yeah, dude. I'm sure I'll find it. I only have 2 left, but yeah, those memories are fucking
They're
fantastic.
good.
They're
They're
great. In fact, after I find the last 2. Apparently, they're actually meant to be played in order.
Yeah.
I've been kind of watching them out of order. So as soon as I
When
find
you
them,
find them, you don't
I'm gonna
find them in
rewatch
order,
them
yeah.
all, start to finish. And
I'll probably do the same. They're of high enough quality that I would be willing to go back and
I think
rewatch
it's really
them.
interesting that nobody ever addresses the fact that Link never talks.
he actually
that
he does
sarcasm?
talk. They just don't. Like
In the videos and stuff?
No, when people ask, like,
No,
when,
yeah,
in
yeah.
the videos, yeah.
Like, in
we
the
talk
videos,
about this all the time.
but like,
This is
yeah,
not- yeah.
it is weird.
Yeah, Link has never
in the
been
world, when you
a
talk-
voice actor has never spoken through Link verbally, except for yeah.
It's baby steps. This game actually introduced voice acting in
Excuse
general.
me, princess.
It's to be the next game. Yeah, here's the thing. Maybe it's that they're worried that when they finally do it, people are
gonna
going to be
be
like,
like
that
that.
sounds awful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they tried to do with this game, and it's just like, whatever. Okay, listen, they talk now. Honestly, they should talk more.
Yeah,
but
the
they
voice
don't.
acting is great, I think, for the most part. So, anyways, that's my Zelda update. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Nolan, but Zelda continues to be dope.
Like I said, I've been doing a lot of exploring. I'm at like 18 hearts or something like that now.
I think I'm at like 13,
Really?
14.
My stamina's full, maxed out. It's three rings.
How many
Oh, is it
fucking
just
hours
3?
have you played this game?
I don't know off the top of my head. I guess I could pull it up real quick
Your
while we're
thing will
talking.
tell you now.
My Switch is in front of me. So I mean, I've been having fun exploring the world. I feel like I'm constantly encountering new things in this game that I haven't
Did
seen
y'all see
before.
that thing that's been going around on Twitter with the Guardian that got into a fight with the giant rock dude?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he just like it started out going after Link, and then he just got pummeled by the fucking rock dude, and then they just started fucking fighting it out in the middle of the field, and Link's just like freaking out, trying to stay away. Like that. I wish that happened to me.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Like, that is so cool.
The how dynamic this game is pretty interesting and
It
cool.
is so cool.
I wish they.
Now what am I doing? I was like booting up the game. So if I go to my profile, 65 hours.
And I'm at about 60 right now.
Man, though.
So, but yeah, so like I said, it's at 65 hours or more. I'm probably closer to 70. But I just feel like I'm finding new like pieces of equipment, like armor pieces and stuff like that. And there is a drive. And so, and here my problem, Brad, is like, I have all these pieces of armor and equipment and stuff, and you can level them up, but I'm having trouble, I'm short on resources, and it's going to get to the point where I'm like, I really want to level this up, but then what am I going to do with it? I'm so close to the end of the game that by the time I have this upgraded piece of equipment, I'm not going to use it.
See, that's
as
the one
much.
thing. That's the one thing about that drive to like when you said going after shrines so you can get upgrades. It really isn't about that anymore for me. I could go fight Ganon right now and probably be fine.
I mean, with crafting a bunch of like potions and stuff.
Do you
Yeah,
struggle
you
with Lionels?
I do actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then you have reason to keep upgrading. You know?
Lionels are pretty tough. But like, yeah, you craft some really good potions that increase your attack or your
I'm just
defense.
really
extra
shitty at
hearts.
crafting elixirs. Like I'm really bad at it.
I've never crafted an elixir.
It's about finding something that works well, like reading the ingredients. Like you have like
But implies you have to have the things to read the ingredients.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm saying you catch a lizard. This mixed with monster parts will increase this, and then kind of understanding the concept of if there's this weird ratio thing. So you can have 5 things, 5 items in a recipe max. If you mix like one item, like say like a lizard that increases your attack, if you mix one like attack lizard with 4 monster parts, that will give you a low level boost to attack for a long period of time. But if you mix 4 lizards with 1 monster part, that will
greatly
give you
boost
a
your attack
huge boost for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And what's better?
It depends. It depends on what you want. If you're just running around exploring the world, maybe just a small boost in attack for a long time. But if you're in a boss fights don't last half an hour.
Yeah.
Boss fights are over in like 5-10 minutes.
That's still the bummer for me in this game, dude.
Can y'all both done all 4 of the?
No, I'm about to fight the last divine beast.
Which one are you on?
I'm doing the camel.
Without getting
Okay.
into any
Have you
specifics-
explored the thing and actually? Okay.
Without getting into specifics, which one was your favorite?
Oh, that's tough.
And are any of them like up there with like the greats?
So are any of them up there? No. It's sad to say, but they're not. I've honestly enjoyed more running into like Hinoxes and stuff in the world.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I think they're slightly more interesting because these are all like the same. I mean, you fight them differently.
No,
But they're all
I'm
the
talking
same.
about the guardian, like the dungeons.
Oh, the dungeons themselves, not the boss in the dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so the dungeons
Which one's
themselves.
been your favorite dungeon?
Someone else talk for a minute so I can
I
think about
really
them.
liked the Zora domain one,
Okay.
which was the first one I did.
That was the first one. I mean, so I guess an issue I have with these, and just to
Just
get out of the
short.
way. So the short, they're all like the same. Getting to them is the same. A person from that region helps you into getting into it, and then they leave you, and then when you're into it, it's all the same. You know, you kind of solve them in the same way, kind of.
Yeah.
They're slightly different, but you're
I mean,
always
there's some
doing
clever
this-
stuff in there.
Oh no, I don't get me wrong. There definitely is clever stuff that I've had to like sit there and think for a minute and be like, oh, I understand what's going on now. But so I don't think any of them are ever going to be up there with like previous Zelda dungeons.
I mean-
but I have enjoyed what they've done. I have enjoyed the puzzles I've had to solve.
I think
in
it's
them.
I think it's you know what's kind of sad to say. I mean, I feel like I'm glad they experimented. I'm glad they tried this.
for
I just
sure.
kind of wish it wasn't this game, because if it wasn't this game, if the dungeons, if the 4 dungeons in this game are more like Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess, without a doubt, this game would be the best Zelda ever made.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of wish
And they have the soundtrack of, like,
I kind of
Wind
feel like
Wind
that
Waker.
experimentation. I wish that experimentation had maybe happened in something like Skyward Sword or something.
Okay. In an effort to like move on, let me ask the big fucking question.
Okay.
What the fuck do they do next?
And
They can't take a step backwards.
We've
No.
briefly-
I'm saying like, how do you make another world?
So we've briefly talked
fucking
about
know.
this before, but yeah, it would require them to make another large world that is not going to be done in a year or 2
But like,
years.
it
It's
can't
gonna
just
take
be
some
like,
time.
here's mountains, here's a snowy area, here's a desert. You can't do that.
I think they
right?
have to
You gotta
thematically change it.
like do like the future or something. You can't like, the world is already so big and rich and complex and has all the different biomes and stuff. You can't just do
You know
more
what
of
they're gonna
that.
do, Brad?
It needs to be like,
You know what I think
the
they're going to do?
future.
I think they're going to do.
Danny DeVito.
I think they're going to do more. Thank you.
I like
Thank
where
you.
you're going.
I think they're going to actually go backwards and do more of a Majora's Mask, where the areas are really fucking like not weird, but like intense. You know, like in Majora's Mask, when you go to like the forest and you're the Deku, like it is very much that you were fucking.
I think
in it.
they're going to have to
What
change
if-
thematically and tonally, and I think to be honest, if they want to make something that doesn't feel like just another like do-over of Breath of the Wild, they're going to have to go something more experimental, like Wind Waker, like Skyward Sword, but on a bigger scale.
Or like Link to the Past. What if they do something like that? Maybe they use the same map, but then they also do like a dark world to it that's different.
You know what Nintendo really needs to do? They need to give the teams that make a certain game a different franchise. Like let the Mario guys do the Zelda game next time. Let the people that made this amazing Zelda game do this to Metroid in an alien planet. Let them do Metroid.
Don't fucking give me blue balls,
That would
Brad.
be crazy.
You know? Right?
That would be
Because I don't want
insane.
another Zelda game like this, at least not anytime fucking soon, because this one's already like such a ultimate Zelda game.
Yeah.
Do an ultimate Metroid game.
That would be insane.
Yep.
A Metroid on
Hey.
this scale.
Yes.
Think about it this way,
or a
guys.
Mario game on this scale.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. Odyssey.
Here's the thing:
Well, it's-
the
I know
Switch
it's
is
not
out.
gonna be.
The Switch is out. It's been pretty successful for Nintendo so far. Zelda is out. That was all they had to show at E3 last year
Yeah.
was Zelda.
on
Yeah.
the Wii U.
And E3 is coming up in about 2.5 months.
Yeah.
Nintendo's got to show
They'll
something.
show something.
I
And
feel
so
like they're
if-
gonna.
show
I think-
Mario.
If you go
Oh yeah,
back,
Mario will be big.
if you go back, I don't remember when we had this conversation. It was probably sometime around like 3D World or something like that when I was talking about Mario, and I had said that I want Nintendo to do a Mario in the like scale of Skyrim.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we got here, Zelda in the scale of Skyrim.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, y'all laughed at me. You're like, hey, you're not going to do that. And they did with Zelda. So there is still hope that maybe they could do Mario on a scale like this. I would fucking, you know, and it wouldn't be
we
like,
don't have a really good idea yet of how Odyssey.
Well,
I'm assuming it's going to be similar
There
to
is a
64 where they're
2
level based kind of.
There is a
and-
1.5 hour analysis of that
Trailer.
3-minute trailer. It was an hour and a half long of like a 3 or like 4 or 5 minute trailer. So trust me, thanks to the wonderful people at Game Explain, there are people who know a lot of stuff about this game.
But like my dream.
They broke down every single street in that city.
That's ridiculous. So my dream would be so a Metroid in this style would be good, but also like a Mario. So you know, this Zelda is like realistic. It's, you know, the various color palettes, but having a like Mario game that is at this scale, but it's still like bright and colorful like Mario, that would be fucking amazing.
I mean, I don't doubt that Odyssey is going to be similar to 64
Yeah,
in
it
terms
will.
of format,
And Sunshine,
but we don't know how big each of those worlds
Yeah, it's
is.
true.
Like imagine Imagine if it was like
Mario 64.
but imagine if it was like Mario 64, but each world was like the size of like the hinterlands in Dragon Age or something like that. Like it may not be the same. It may not be the scale in the same way as Breath of the Wild, but the scale could still be there, just in different ways. I don't know. I'm super hopeful. We'll see. But yeah, like I said, aside from Mario, I don't know what to expect from Nintendo at E3 this year. So
Looking
they
forward
could
to it,
announce
at
some cool
least.
shit.
Can you believe we're getting like a new Mario 64, like a new Banjo-Kazooie, a new Psychonauts game? Like, man, 3D platformers.
stuff.
It's fucking crazy. And you know what? It's time for the news.
Yeah, let's just
We've
go.
got some fucking
First news topic.
I wanted to talk briefly, and this is just, it's rumor right now, speculation, but Evil Within 2. There's been some evidence out there having to do with job descriptions that have gotten out there into the world that points to the production of Evil Within 2. We talked about this a few weeks ago. E3's coming up.
They can't just show Quake Champions.
By the time E3 comes around, but the only game we know about from Bethesda is Quake.
Yeah.
So they can't just
Prey
have
will be out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Prey will be out.
Is that Bethesda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prey
Yeah.
will be out.
Yeah.
Dishonored 2 is out. Doom is out. Everything they've been talking about for the past 2 years is out. So at this point, the only thing that we know of that they're doing is Quake. They're not going to have a conference and just show Quake. They're going to show some cool shit.
Oh man, we'll see.
I bet we'll see the new
Oh,
Wolfenstein,
we'll see it.
but I'm pretty sure Evil Within 2 is going to be at E3. That is probably my biggest prediction of E3 this year. Is that
Here's
Evil
my
Within 2 is
prediction.
coming.
Here's my prediction. Evil Within 2 is better than Resident Evil 7.
You know what? I wouldn't.
And
be
maybe
surprised.
there's VR support.
Sure. Oh my god! I didn't even think about that.
I mean,
would
because
play,
Bethesda,
That would
they
be
like
intense.
own part of
dude,
Oculus.
I would play the shit out of Evil Within if they did something similar to what they did with Resident Evil
It would
7.
make sense.
Because just think about it, like VR and having them mess with your fucking mind in VR like that. Because just even without VR, Evil
Man.
Within was fucking with my head.
Fuck that.
And yeah, exactly. And fuck that, because that's gonna scare the shit out of me. But
I heard some of the trippiest shit in VR is when you go into VR in VR.
What?
What?
You like
Fuck
put
you.
on a VR headset in VR.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
what?
That's
You go
weird.
deeper?
Yeah,
We have
you
to
go deeper. It kind of fucks with your mind.
But I can't even imagine. Like, one of my favorite things from the Evil Within was like those scenes where like you would like fall off a cliff, or I don't remember what
Like
the context.
perspective would
And
change.
the perspective,
and,
the
like,
camera would shift around, and then all of a sudden you'd be falling, and then you'd be rolling down a
yeah,
hall.
rolling
and
down
you're
a
like,
hallway. Yeah.
What the fuck just
How-
happened?
how
Can you
did that-
imagine?
yeah.
Can you imagine the shit they could do in VR?
You would probably
You
just
just
throw
start
up everywhere.
I know. I would puke everywhere, but it'd be so worth it.
This is so good.
Like the game comes with a collectible booklet and like a barf bag.
Yeah, I know. Evil Within was a kind of a divisive game, but like
But it had a lot of
it had
technical issues.
yeah. Like if they can kind of fix some of those technical issues, the
It was
first
a
game
very
had.
early PS4 game, and they didn't exactly have it down set.
Yeah, but like if they can just
Well, it was the first game for Tango Gameworks.
That's true too.
if they can smooth out some of those technical
Didn't that come out
issues.
before PS4?
No. But it was an earlier PS4 title.
Evil Within?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
Yes.
Like first year.
I mean, it
year and a
also
half.
came out on PS3.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those. It was PS3 as well, cross-platform. But yeah, I'm super excited for hopefully an incoming Evil Within 2 announcement. Next, Brad, this is
I
kind
had a
of you.
news topic that I wanted to mention just because I thought it was somewhat indicative of my concerns about the Switch.
Yes.
Which this is actually kind of exciting because, Radiant Historia, they announced a remake is coming to 3DS. It's gonna have like new content, and
a year after PS4.
this is you'll find a lot of people kind of talk about Radiant Historia as this like hidden JRPG gem of the original DS that a lot of people I guess missed.
I'm sorry. What was the game?
Radiant Historia.
Okay, yeah.
And it's I've played some of it. It's actually really, really cool.
Was that the-
I've been wanting to
Kind of first person. You're like moving around like a forest or something. I'm trying to remember.
no, that's Etrian Odyssey.
Etrian Odyssey.
Radiant Historia, it kind of has like Chrono Trigger vibes because you're like you travel through time, sort of, or not
I'm looking
time
this
per
up
se.
right
Yeah, but like the point is not that game is like a big deal. I think it is actually a really cool game. But the thing is, they are remaking it, and they announced it for the 3DS.
But it was originally for the 3DS.
No, it was originally for the DS. It was originally for the DS, they announced that they're remaking it for the 3DS. You know, it's a pretty cool like JRPG.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with Fire Emblem, you know, they announced a new Fire Emblem game is coming to the 3DS. Here's my question. This is why this is in the news topic. Why is this coming to the? Why is a newly announced game coming to the 3DS
And not the Switch, is what you're saying?
Not the Switch. This
They're
is
trying to keep the 3DS alive.
The dream. No, I mean the dream of the Switch
but
is that it is the replacement. Like they struggle with the Wii U, they struggle with the GameCube, they struggle a little bit with the 64. The thing is, like, Nintendo has never struggled with handhelds, right?
I mean,
They're. A lot of people wanted this hybrid because they saw the smart future of Nintendo being just combine. Just do, instead of doing one console and one handheld, don't stretch yourself thin. Don't stretch all your studios thin. Just do one thing and put all your games on one Nintendo. Everybody's going to buy it because everybody wants to have the fucking Nintendo. Like the fact that they are releasing games for 3DS and don't have the confidence to put it on the Switch.
What Prince said.
No, you can't talk about install bases because...
Why not?
Because, like, the Wii U has a bigger install base than the Switch, you know, but they're not going to put games out on the Wii U
Because
just
it's a lot more expensive.
What?
Development for the Switch. First of all, they may have already been working on this on the Switch before
the 3DS.
It doesn't matter. Like, why is it not coming to the Switch? It's a handheld.
Well, they might port it to the Switch, but they might have already been working on it for a long time on the 3DS, and they decided it wasn't worth porting.
Like, how long do we have to? This is a newly announced thing.
I mean,
how long do we have to wait before that cop
they
out can go
announced
away?
it doesn't mean that they just started working on it.
Also, we just
How
talked
long do you
about
think
the
it
Evil
took them
Within.
to throw together 1-2 Switch?
We just
Probably did that
talked
in a
about
month.
the Evil Within.
That's completely fucking different, Brad.
We just talked about the Evil Within, which is a game that came out a year after the PS4 and was still on the PS3. Like, this just might be a case of, like, they had already put so much effort into doing the 3DS version, and they weren't quite ready to talk about supporting it on the Switch. It may come to the Switch. They may have just decided as a studio that they want to get it out on the 3DS, just focus on what they were doing, get it out in the 3DS, and then who knows? Not to mention, it's still new
that's
hardware.
the excuse I keep hearing.
I mean, that is the only excuse.
But why would they not announce it for the Switch as well?
Because maybe it's not ready for the Switch.
Maybe they haven't decided if they want to do it on the Switch
Maybe
yet.
they aren't confident enough that they will be able to successfully port it over, and they don't want to get.
Are y'all
people's hopes up
confident
and
that
then
we
lie
are
to
going to
them.
see games that look like this on the Switch?
What are we looking at?
Not games from indie developers.
What are we looking at?
Games that look like 3DS games.
Well,
Yes,
on the Switch.
I'm 100% confident.
What was the game? What was the game that was in the big lineup at?
The mother, some whatever fucking
Western indie games do not count.
There was a JRPG.
Because that's just shit that was going to the Vita.
Octopath Traveler?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Octopus Traveler.
Octopus
Oh,
Traveler.
well, that's a much sexier game than y'all think. I
Dude,
mean,
but
No, I think that looks really
I think
sexy.
that game looks like the style of game you're talking about that you would, if the Switch didn't exist, you would expect to find on the 3DS.
I am 100% confident we will see 3DS style games on the Switch. I am sure we're going to see some probably Layton and some some like Phoenix Wright.
Here's
and
what
stuff
I
like
want
that.
to
but
say.
you don't think a Fire Emblem game, a new Fire Emblem game, would sell like crazy on the Switch?
I'm sure it would.
Maybe.
So why wouldn't they announce this thing for the Switch?
The real test is when they put the next full Pokemon sequel on the Switch.
So yeah, that's gonna happen. Brad, do you not understand how like development works?
Listen, I do,
You
man.
can't just say, "Hey, I'm developing this game for this console. Oh, there's another console. Well, I'm gonna put it on that too."
But
It's
you
not-
can't do that with games. They do it all the time.
It's not as easy as you think.
Of course not. But Fire Emblem sells really fucking well.
Okay.
I'm worried that Nintendo does not want a game that looks like that on their brand new system.
I don't think that's happening.
I don't think that's.
I don't think that's happening at all.
Like Fire Emblem does so well for them.
I would say wait until after E3 because I have a feeling they've been so focused on Zelda right now that it's hard to talk. It's hard to imagine anything else or talk about anything else on the Switch. I think come E3 you're gonna see a lot of announcements for a lot of smaller experiences, maybe
The fact
more
that
portable experiences that you would expect to see on 3DS on the
fact that Nintendo already announced a Fire Emblem game for the Switch, it might be they want people to double dip and not get confused because half their install base are babies about which one is which. They would want them to buy them for the 3DS and the Switch.
Baby games.
I mean, it's.
I mean, listen, like they want to put their best foot forward with a brand new system,
Yeah.
and I know the install base
Also-
is huge. It's all their older install bases are always huge, but like
Prince has his
like
point.
with fucking Zelda. I mean,
Prince has a point though that this is an Atlas owned project, and at this point it's Nintendo is not the one making the decision. There might just be some internal reason as to why Alice decided we want this to be on the 3DS for a very specific reason. Like, Nintendo is not the one stepping in saying you have to make
but Alice already has a relationship with Nintendo. They already announced a new Shin Megami Tensei game for the Switch. Also, Fire Emblem is Nintendo. Like it's concerning. Like, it's easy to make excuses. Like, hey, just wait, it could come. But like, they should put their best foot forward with the system.
But why are you saying Western developed indie games don't count? Because you're seeing a lot of Western indie.
Because it's just Vita. I mean, those are just ports. I mean, it's just what we saw with the Vita. That's not a sign of the future of the stuff I care about. Here's my concern. That maybe not this E3, but next E3, they're just going to announce another DS. Are y'all not afraid of that?
It's possible.
I don't think that would be cannibalizing their own their own I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen after just 2 years ago is when they announced the new 3DS.
Not to mention, the Switch has been successful for them, very successful.
You know, let's not get too high on all the right decisions that Nintendo's been making lately, and keep in mind that they do make some stupid decisions.
They do.
And if they get complacent, they might make a stupid decision in 2 years.
I was just under the impression that the Switch was going to have everything.
Why?
No matter what they looked like.
Why would you be under that impression?
Because it's definitely not a console. Like I'm saying,
we can't get into this debate
no.
for
I'm
the
saying,
18th
I'm
time.
saying, in 2 years, let's say they announce a new system.
Okay.
Should it be one that you only plug into the TV, or should it be one that you take on the go?
It could be either one.
I know, of course it could. But I'm saying, it would make more sense that it would be a powerful box you plug into your TV,
It'd be
right?
kind of weird for them to be announcing anything in 2 years, though, right?
I'm just saying, what the fuck? Because look at indie developers all the fucking time. Also in the news, Bloodstained cancel their Wii U port. It's coming to Switch.
Because why would you,
Because why?
Because the Wii U is
But it has a big install base. It has a bigger install base than the Switch.
Give it a couple months, and it probably will have a smaller install base than the Switch.
I know, but that besides the point. The thing is, you want to put your cool new game on the latest system that everyone's hyping, everyone's talking about, everybody's buying. You don't want to put it on the old shit, right?
Dude, I think it goes beyond that, because the Wii U in general, just as a system, aside from the fact that aside from the fact that it is not the new hotness, it's just the fact that I think that console in general has a negative connotation to it. It was a obvious failure.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about I'm not going to be comfortable until I see Nintendo put out a fucking ugly game on the Switch.
Okay, well, the thing is, first of all, it's only been out for a month. 2, Zelda's been out. It's the only thing anyone cares about right now on the Switch is Zelda. Give it a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And wait till after E3, because I think, E3, Nintendo's going to do some crazy big, treehouse thing that they do at E3 every year.
Brad, I think you're freaking out for no reason.
Okay. I think this Radiant Historia project is a really, really cool thing, and I think it's fucking lame that it's coming to 3DS.
And you know what? I'm not going to disagree with you there, but there's also a chance that after they get it out on the 3DS, they say, by the way, it's coming to Switch, whenever we get it done.
And I think that's, coming from a place as a developer, that's what I do. You have to fucking realize that when you're at a company, they can't just be like, oh, there's another platform now. Stop developing, stop the months and months of work you've done. We're throwing that out the door almost, and now we're developing it for this.
Some companies can.
I mean, sometimes they will.
Ukulele and
Sometimes they will.
Kickstarter games.
Sometimes they will. But, Brad, you can't compare the 3DS to the Wii U. You can't do that. You're comparing a extremely successful console to a shitty console. You can't compare those. Why would I want to develop a game for a home console when there is a better version of that console?
No. All I'm saying is you're making it sound like this port is impossible, that it would take years.
I'm not saying it's impossible.
But I mean,
I'm saying
if I was that company, I would do everything in my power to get it on the Switch if Nintendo was cool with that.
How do you know they're not?
Maybe they just haven't. Maybe they just haven't come. Maybe they haven't.
But that's what I'm saying. This entire conversation has come with an assumption that you just don't think they're doing something they could be doing. You're going off the fact that you think they came out and said, we're not doing it.
Can we assume that this new Fire Emblem for DS that comes out in May is not coming to Switch? I mean, they've announced a Fire Emblem game for Switch.
Okay, is it the same team?
But the fact that they've announced it and it's like years, it's just in like concept phases. I mean,
like I said, Brad, I think you're going off assumptions that you don't have like facts
I feel
to
like
back
I feel
up.
like I know. I feel like I was really frustrated because like a year ago it was who even knows what the topic was anymore, because it was just a kind of thing where y'all just kept saying wait and see, and eventually who even knows what happened. I don't want this to. I don't want to sleep on this. That's all I'm saying.
So, put a note on your calendar as a reminder to bring it back up.
like,
Bring it up.
It's easy to defend it, but like, I can't be the only one who's worried about this.
You're probably not, but
I'm not a crazy person for being worried about this, and y'all make it sound like I'm just a crazy guy. Like,
no, we're not making.
Elite Beat Agents is gone and never coming back.
Don't get. I'm not happy about that, but that's how shit goes
Yeah.
sometimes.
Also, Silent Hill is dead and never coming back.
You know, it's like the PS Pro stuff. Maybe that's what I was like freaked out about. You know, like
Unfortunately, though,
like
these
sure we can always
situations-
wait and see, but like this shit's happening before our
But I'm
eyes,
literally
whether we
asking
want it
you,
or not.
I'm literally telling you to wait until I'm saying wait until at E3. That's
Oh. I mean, I bet
I'm not just saying in general wait and see. I'm saying wait for two and a half months, because I think that's when you're going to get a more definitive.
I think
answer.
the only way Nintendo would not want to announce like that Fire Emblem game eventually coming to the Switch is like because maybe they want like double dippers, but like
That's what I just said.
That's not a realistic thing.
Nintendo fucking wants that all the time. Well, we need to move on
we
from
need
this
to move on.
conversation.
Fuckers.
We're not getting anywhere.
But I think that's all the news we have. So, anyways,
yeah.
yeah. I thought we were going to talk about Destiny 2 because it was looking like we were going to get an announcement today.
Well, Jason Schreier said it was going to be announced today.
I mean, there is
and he's
pretty
usually
definitive.
like, press sneak fuck, Mister, leaks.
I mean,
he's usually pretty right about
there's
this stuff.
pictures of marketing materials out there of this game. I was fully expecting there to be like a trailer today that we could have watched and had some kind of concept to talk about, to delve into, but that did not come to fruition. So maybe next week. I'm sorry I made you show this overlay, Chris Davis, because we're not really going to talk more about it than that. So it's time to answer some questions.
No, it's not.
Directed by Luke
not.
Smith.
It's not.
It's the community.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Gonna talk about we love our community. 3 new patrons this week. 3.
Wonderful.
Count it. 1, 2, 3. Not
Yes.
5, not 8, not 1.
I'm not
3.
gonna. I didn't even count them today for your
3
sake.
new patrons.
It's hot now.
I will take your word for it.
Because Brad got all heated in his debate. 3 new patrons. Alfie and M, John M, and River P.
Okay, I'm about to say, if you don't say River next, there was a 4th one. But you did. So
There's
you're
3.
good. Thank you to all of you lovely folks who support us on Patreon.
Appreciate you.
Especially the new guys. You're great.
I did want to bring up, just because it's part of the community. I've had some trouble getting a hold of supporter of the months. No one seems to check their emails.
Come on, folks.
So in the past 2 months, I've probably emailed like 9 people.
Holy shit.
Finally got a response today from someone. So they will be our supporter next month.
In April.
Since
March is almost over.
I don't want to give them a few days. So we'll announce it on the next podcast, though, because that'll be our last podcast in March.
Yes.
So I will announce it next week. But we do have a supporter of the month for April.
And I
Get
believe
pumped
we do have
and
a
ready.
plan for
Yes,
a game that
we
we're
do.
going to play on the feed for
We
this
do.
person.
I'm excited. No, Prince. No. First question this week from our patrons. From Piosht.
Piosh.
I feel as though many games now have crafting systems, but none of them are all that interesting. Are there any crafting systems that actually stand out for you?
I like weapon crafting and Dark Souls too.
What?
Dark Cloud too.
Dark Cloud 2?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was good. Man. I mean, to be
Crafting
honest,
system.
crafting systems, kind of like character creators, are things that I don't tend to like gravitate
You're
towards.
lame.
I know I'm lame. It's
You're
just not the
lame,
kind of.
Nick.
It's not the kind of thing I usually like to spend a lot of my time on. I don't like spending a lot of time in menus, which
Yeah.
to each their own.
I actually think
But
the crafting in Minecraft is quite cool.
It's kind of cool that they try to like, instead of it just being like have all the ingredients
Like a
and then hit a
visual
button,
thing,
like
like
you
a
have to actually
discovery.
arrange them in a certain way to make it
And
a
so
thing.
and so that was interesting early on, like in alpha and early beta, when they didn't give you like a map.
Yeah.
But now they kind of like, it was interesting because you just had to figure it out, and you had to be like, logically, I think a sword would be like this. Oh, I can craft a sword. And I really liked that early on when you were kind of having to learn it.
I kind of also liked it wasn't great, but like I liked the idea behind Dragon Age Inquisition's crafting, because if I remember correctly, it's been a little while, but if I remember correctly, you were actually like crafting, like if you were making a sword, you were making different parts of it. You were making like the blade and the pommel, or the blade and the hilt and the grip and everything, and you could change, like depending on what you made, like your sword could look completely different just by combining different types of components.
I know it's old now, and I mean it's by no means like groundbreaking anymore. But like that first, when I first played Far Cry 3, and that's when they first kind of introduced that crafting system that has, of course, now kind of spread and become like the base minimum standard for doing crafting in games. Like that, the simplicity of that and the way it was worked into improving your character, I loved, because I didn't have to spend a shit ton of time in menus. It was like, just find items in the world, open up your weapon wheel kind of thing, craft, boom, you're right back into the game. Like, I thought that was great, and that's the kind of crafting I kind of like, because it just keeps me in the game more, and I'm not spending a shit ton of time in menus.
There's a pro and a
Mass Effect
con
overwhelms me.
to simplistic crafting, where it's like you do need resources, but it's very quick to craft them, versus something where it's a more complex system where you're picking pieces and parts, and like what game was Witcher? Like I could get frustrated in Witcher when it came to alchemy and some craft, because it was pretty complicated. Whereas something like Far Cry or even like Horizon, it's like so simple.
I did like
to craft.
certain things about the way Witcher
and so what
crafting works.
Carlos he came up with, and I wanted to, that was one of the one I was going to mention next, was The Last of Us, and I really liked that because it was simple. It was always simple to do, but it was never, it wasn't a pause. You had to do it real time, so it added that extra element of like, oh, I got to do this really fucking quick.
It makes you want to do it quickly and get back into the act.
Yeah, so it doesn't pull you out of the game very long.
I hate crafting in Neo.
Well implemented.
because you have to have like really valuable resources to raise the percentage of getting like
The likelihood
a
of
purple
having a
when you're
better
crafting
one,
it,
yeah.
but like you don't want the yellow.
Yeah.
You don't want the white. So it's like, rolling that fucking dice is hard to stomach, because there's a large percentage you're going to get something that you really don't want, and still have to spend those resources to even get those rare percentages up.
All right,
and it's like,
let's move on. We got a lot of questions this week, and that was only the first one. Next question from Nick the Batman. Should Link just fucking talk already?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably so.
I agree.
I'm just telling you right now, guys. When he finally does talk, some people are going to be outraged, and not.
Oh yeah,
There's going to be people outraged at the premise. There's also going to be people who are just like, really? That's what they chose to go with? And then no one's in certain. You just can't make people happy.
How do you even?
You know what? I
like,
changed my mind. I don't care if he never talks, but every line of dialogue in that game should be fucking voiced.
Yeah.
I want,
outside of Link's.
I want him to talk, but I want him to be voiced by John DiMaggio, like Jake from Adventure Time.
really deep,
Great.
gravelly.
Yeah.
Dude, that was like like I said before. I think it'd be great if he sounded like fucking what's his face from StarCraft. StarCraft 2. Remember when they did the announcement trailer for that, and it just ends with him? He's like, "Hell, it's about time." like
Just real gruff looking sounding.
Or I think Clancy Brown would do a good job of that.
How about like a very effeminate, like
Like a higher up.
what's
What
am I trying to say? Like get
What is that one voice
really
actress?
like progressive.
What is that one
She was
voice
voiced by
actress who
Billy
does
Eichner.
a lot of stuff? She was like Bubbles in Powerpuff Girls. and Tommy Pickles.
Oh my god.
What is her name?
Oh, you're talking
Link on
about
the street,
Tara
man.
Strong.
Tara Strong.
Yeah.
Has
Oh,
Link
no,
ever-
no, no, wait.
Yeah.
Eh?
Tara Strong?
Yeah, maybe.
Link
I
on-
think it might be Tara Strong.
Link on the street.
Yeah, Billy Eichner
Oh.
is Link.
That would be so great.
Has Link ever actually like made out with Zelda?
Maybe. In my dreams.
Yeah. Bubbles from Powerpuff
What if Link
Girls.
was voiced by Michael Cera?
Timmy Turner. Yeah,
That would be awkward.
All right. Anyway, let's move on.
Uh,
Next question from Alfian, one of our new patrons.
Alfian.
Hey guys, longtime listener and lurker since 2009 from Brunei.
Brunei.
Brunei, isn't that on?
Like, that's it? Just Brunei?
Yeah, like what is that island? Borneo.
Borneo.
Borneo. Is
that-
where
how do you spell
is?
Brunei?
Brunei. I think it's on Borneo. Yeah.
Samsonite. I was way off.
All right, let's see. Brunei is
Borneo?
a tiny nation on the island of Borneo.
Yes,
There
sweet.
you go.
It's
South-
in South Pacific in
Surrounded
Indonesia.
by Malaysia and the South China
Geography
Sea.
win.
Damn.
Well, that's crazy
Damn.
that we have a fucking listener from Brunei.
That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's a first.
I would always listen to the podcast on the ride to school. My question is, what is the stupidest / most creative thing you've done to try and get out of having to come to school? I once used a hairdryer on my forehead in order to make it seem as if I had a fever. This falls under the stupid category, in my opinion, as it never worked.
I was about to say, but did it work? If it was stupid, but it worked, then it doesn't matter if it was stupid. But it didn't work, apparently.
So I will say a couple of things. So
gonna
first of all, Bernadette's senior year of high school, she made me call in sick for her like 5 times. She would call me and be like, call into my school and act like you're my dad. And I would like call like, I'm Bernadette's father. What I used to do in middle school was the school used these kind of shitty thermometers at the nurse's office, and if you put a penny under your tongue, it would throw off the thermometer and make it go
I feel like
higher.
that was like at the risk of giving yourself some kind of like.
I mean, you don't
Poison or
pull a penny out of your
eat
butt.
The penny.
You fucking
No, I'm
get a
talking
clean
about like
penny.
the. I don't know.
Money's really dirty.
Money
Yeah.
is pretty.
Well, that's why
fucking
you get
dirty.
a clean penny, or wash it. But
dishwash.
yeah, and I would do that to try and like get out of.
Man.
I only skipped school once through all like from kindergarten to senior year of high school. I only skipped school one time, and it was the day that Halo 2 came out. And
I don't think I ever skipped school for a video game.
my scam was we went on a field trip the evening before with band, and that was also the first night that I'd ever eaten Chipotle. Like we went to Gainesville.
I see where you're
and
going
our
with
band
this.
director took us to Chipotle, and I was like, "Oh, it's a burrito place." And then like the whole plan fell together in my mind. So I pretended that I had food poisoning. I was like, "Oh, I don't feel so good," like that night. And then the next morning, I woke up early before my parents got up, and I filled a couple glasses of water and like hid them behind the toilet in my bathroom.
That's gross.
So like the next day, I'd like go in the bathroom and I'm like, "Bleh," and like just pouring these like glasses of water in the toilet, like while my dad's out in the living room getting ready. And I was like, "Oh, I just like threw up really hard. I don't feel so good." And my dad was like, "Okay, fine, stay home." I was like, "You stupid."
How'd you get the game though?
Did your dad know about
that
this?
night after I came back from Chipotle, I went to bed, and I like this is probably a huge cue because I never closed my bedroom door, but that night I closed my bedroom door and went out the window and got in my car and went to the mall.
Wow. So did your dad know about this?
He does
I was
now.
gonna say, I feel like your dad
don't
has
know.
watched the show on multiple occasions.
I feel like I've shared this story before too. I don't think I've ever told them.
Crispy's dad's in chat, and he's like, "I knew you weren't throwing up. I just
Yeah.
didn't care."
You know,
Yeah, I feel like now I feel like I probably put a lot of effort into something that wasn't really.
man, I didn't skip school very much.
I didn't.
But when
either.
I did it, I never went home. I can tell you that much.
The reason why I had to do that was because my dad worked at the high school that I went to. So I can't like if I don't show up, he'll know I'm not there. And then he knows I'm skipping. So I have to make him think that I'm at home sick.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
So
Brad, anything?
that's
No?
why.
I don't even remember the question.
Brad doesn't remember school. It's hard to remember the 50s. It's a long time ago. Next,
Oh, I didn't really skip. I was like, come on, I was like a really good student.
next question from Soul Print. What was the longest you have gone without sleep? What were you doing at that time?
Oh man, I've gone.
Probably broadcasting.
I mean,
I've definitely gone long, like big broadcasts.
I've
and
gone
stuff.
pretty close to 48 hours.
I've gone a little longer than 48, I think.
I remember
And I
doing-
can't specifically remember what it was. It's just the thing is if I like I'll come up on 24 hours, but the moment the sun comes up again, I'm just like, I could keep going. It's nighttime where it's hard for me. As soon as the sun sets, all bets are off.
I think it depends on what you're doing. Like if you're at home sitting down playing video games, it's a little harder to stay up too long. Yeah. Like I've done a few 24-hour streams before, and those are, I did like for Metal Gear Solid and stuff, and those get pretty tough.
Like when you're just sitting there.
Oh yeah, because you're just sitting there. If you're up and about doing things, it's a lot easier. I remember a few years ago, we went to do a 24-hour stream with Microsoft in Houston at the Microsoft store.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, you remember that? You didn't stay up too late, Nick. Because we I ended up staying up like 24 hours, and then over 24. So I'd been up a long time the day before, and then we went, and so I'd probably been up for like close to 48, and we were driving back from Houston, and everyone's like, we're gonna stay awake, and Bernadette and Nick and his girlfriend at the time and Carlos were all fucking asleep, and I took a fucking photo while I was going like 70 miles down I-10 of everyone sleeping and me fucking driving because I was furious that everyone was sleeping and I had to drive everyone back to Austin.
I've made that exact same promise on that exact same drive coming back to Austin from Houston, being like, no, I'll stay up with you, buddy, and like I was asleep before we hit Katy. Like it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever. I think once when I was a kid, I did maybe 2 days.
Yeah.
And I can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't
Man,
even.
that Halloween marathon that we just did last year.
That was
a lot of fun, but man, I was struggling real hard towards the end.
Yeah, like
Here's the thing.
Full sleep.
I like to sleep. It's nice.
And the thing is, I went home after I was struggling to keep my eyes open as we at 6 o'clock as we were winding down that marathon, and I was like, I'm gonna go home and sleep so hard. But by the time I got in my car and drove back home, I was like, I'm awake again, and I just powered through the rest of the day. Went to bed.
Cool.
Time.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
Next question from Michael M. When was the last time you've been to an arcade? Also, what was your favorite arcade game?
I feel like last time I went to an arcade was probably a community meetup at PAX.
Yeah,
I've never been a huge arcade fan.
What was the name of that place? Something.
You mean in Seattle?
Yeah, no, not Seattle.
Which one?
E3.
Oh.
E3 last year.
Oh,
I reminded everybody about it.
That place was
No,
cool.
I remember like
Chai's in chat.
Yeah, Chai will definitely know. Pinballs? Pool?
No, Pinballs is here.
Yeah, that's right.
What do you...
Modern arcades.
Put your change in
Button
my
mash.
slot.
Modern
Button
arcades,
mash.
like, don't they kind of suck because they're all like Facebook? I mean, like mobile games.
A lot of them are.
Button Mash had a whole bunch of like really classic
Button Mash
games.
had old school.
That was actually a cool
And I
arcade.
will say that this year we are going back to Button Mash. Definitely.
No one's making an executive
because
decision
I want
right now.
that Korean Korean pork sandwich.
Yeah, that was pretty
I will get another one of those. So Brad,
is this
that
like your
was so good, wasn't it?
calamari burrito?
So
no,
good.
Brad, you have no idea.
Okay.
This
No,
sandwich
calamari
is fucking
burrito
good.
That
sucked.
calamari
This
burrito
sandwich
sucked.
sucked.
And this
Great
place is
stuff.
the place that I got your Samus right there, Brad. I got that for you there.
Yeah, they had a store connected to it that had all those cool
And that's where I tried to stop myself, but ended up buying like $60 worth of merch from there because it's really cool shit.
Well, I'm down with merch, so you sold me.
Yeah. But anyway, that was the last time I was at an arcade. But there was an arcade here in Austin called Arcade UFO.
Was?
Sorry, it's still around.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no, so the thing is, a few years ago, arcades are kind of going out of style, and Arcade UFO was having trouble, and they did this nationwide thing where a bunch of our struggling arcades kind of all like entered into a contest, kind of, and whoever won the contest got like $20,000 or something like that. And the funny thing was, if you wanted them to win, you had to go online and play a game. And the more points you won for an arcade of your choice, that's how they got it. And so we ended up actually winning for our local arcade, which got them a bunch of money, which was nice. But they had this one weird like tapping rhythm game there that I really liked playing. I can't remember what it's called now.
We keep moving.
Shut up, Nick.
Okay,
Sorry.
well, my favorite arcade game is Tekken Tag Tournament.
Of course it is.
And I haven't been in many years, but I think it's fighting games that sort of drive the popular arcade scene, right?
Yeah,
like
that's
they're
probably
the
why-
last group, and now they don't even make like Street Fighter.
That's probably
for
why I
arcade
don't enjoy
anymore.
arcades very much.
I feel like the last big fighting game to actually get an arcade was Tekken 7, which has been out for years at this point.
All right, there's still a bunch more questions. I'm going to go over a couple more. Umasui? I don't know. Your favorite title screen or title card in a game?
Title screen or title card? I mean, that's hard to say.
Man,
there's a
I don't
lot
know
of
if this
good
is the
ones.
best or even my number one favorite, but I still get chills looking at the Last of Us title screen.
Yeah.
Especially the
Constantly.
HD one.
And that's the thing is I have for the longest time had the dynamic Last
With
of Us
the
theme
music.
because it's so good
And just the
Yeah.
window, and you can see the plants.
That-
like-
Metroid Prime, but
In the
title
same
screens are
vein-
easy. What about title cards? That's
In
hard.
the same
that is
vein, though,
harder.
also Naughty Dog, Uncharted 4, I think, just because, like, just the cage with the skeleton hanging there, and it's just kind of creaking
very
in the wind.
simplistic.
Yeah.
Simple, I like that.
Doom
a lot.
last year had a good title card.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Doom was a great title card.
I liked Metal Gear Solid 3's with like all the moving images and stuff like that, and you would click the stick and it would change them.
I like a really great late title card.
I think that was-
late game title card.
Oh, yeah,
I think
yeah,
that-
like
yeah.
20 hours into a game, boom, title card.
Well, that like Assassin's Creed.
Quadrilateral Cowboy. After you do the little mission, you're flying. You're like flying away. And does the Blendo Games presents?
Solid 2 was
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Yeah,
that's
like
cool.
while you're
Assassin's
in the mission.
Creed, I think Brotherhood had a really fucking good title card. That you played a bunch of the game, and it wasn't until you climbed up a building and there was like blah blah blah, and then like it zooms out. And
Which
it has
Assassin's Creed was this?
I think
Two.
usually there was two.
It was two because you do the like Ezio growing up as the tutorial,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then it's him and his brother racing, and they race to the top of a cathedral, and they're talking about like how great their lives are going to be, and it does that sweeping like
Yeah, that was
pullback
great.
over Venice,
Oh,
and
it's so good.
Or over was it Venice? I
Yeah,
think.
Guys, you know what?
And the music that fucking
It's funny.
It's Florence,
It's funny
yeah.
you bring this up, and
Florence.
I know we need to move on, but it's funny you bring that up. You're talking about because there was a time when Assassin's Creed was like really well respected, really great, and like I feel like it's had some hard times lately. I still like that series, but like I'm really excited because at the end of this year we're going to see what an Assassin's Creed game that has been given a longer development cycle looks like.
Yeah. Okay. There's several more questions, but I'm just going to do one more because we're out of time. I'm sorry, everyone. We can't get to everybody. This is one I'm curious about everyone's answers for, though. John M., another new patron. Hey, guys, I need a little relationship advice that
that's a
pertains
question.
to gaming. Gaming is a very expensive hobby. If you want to get the latest and greatest, or even just buy a console or two, it can add up fast. My girlfriend and I have been living together for almost a year now, and she knew what she was getting into, considering I have a SNES controller tattooed on my forearm. But even so, I still feel bad when I'm constantly consulting her about buying games, and she doesn't really have hobbies or other than painting, but that's still fairly cheap. So the question is, how do you make it back up? How do I make it back up to her? Do you guys have any creative ideas or suggestions that might help me just to feel just a little less bad
First
about
of all,
it?
Mario Paint.
First of all,
you
is
have
he-
the SNES controller. She loves painting. Mario Paint.
I think the obvious answer here is show interest in her hobbies and support her hobbies as much as you expect her to support yours.
Mario Paint.
Mario painting, what Brad said.
I think it's also important to realize that like maybe she just won't ever be as into video games as you are, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And so
My wife fucking hates them.
And that's something I wanted to talk about is it's doing hobbies with each other. So like Bernadette doesn't love games. She enjoys them. So like I'll try to kind of get her in, to the oh yeah, blah blah blah. This is what I like to do. Maybe, when I sit down and watch me play this game or play this game with me. And like we played Snipper Clips and it was fun, but she's not the type of person who would just like really. And so like her hobbies usually more include like, collages and stuff like that. But so I'll like help her. And yeah, it really is a balance of, trying to do each other.
Oh,
hey, there you go.
There's a start.
To do each other's
That's
hobbies.
what we're all trying to do.
Exactly. And then yeah, like you said, I think the fact that you go to her before you make a big purchase is also a good idea. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
definitely good to confirm. Hey, this is what.
I wanna-
And you know what? She might like Bernadette. Doesn't her hobby's not as expensive as mine, but she buys more clothes than I do. So I mean, it kind of balances out. Like if you spend, as long as you're not spending like 10 times
If you got
more
money, you're going to
than
find
her.
ways to spend it.
Yeah.
I
one
mean,
way or
if
another.
she's like, yeah, like if you guys have a good relationship going, I mean, I'm sure she will be understanding of your hobbies.
Let
too.
me suggest this because Malia really doesn't like watching me play video games. She does occasionally randomly pull out Rise of the Argonauts and complete it for whatever reason, but she really hates watching me play video games. But I always show her trailers for stuff I'm excited about.
That's good, yeah.
And video reviews sometimes. And I always try to make a concerted effort to start a game with her there, just if for whatever reason
It clicks.
it does click. It's rare, but sometimes it does, and it's nice to play through a game, from beginning to end, usually not the longer shit. With her there, like we play the Telltale games together. That's one that I really like doing because I let her make the decisions. And she kind of controls it too. I just fucking hate those games. I just like watching, I guess. But those are good games you can play together.
To get off gaming because she's not into it, she's into painting.
Yeah.
I would suggest talking to her, being there when she paints, finding out what kind of paintbrushes does she like. Maybe go out and buy her some new paintbrushes. I don't know how she paints. Does she use like a palette? Maybe buy her a new palette. Just kind of talk to her about what she likes, and then surprise her. Just
what's great about
not on a birthday, not on Valentine's Day, on a fucking random Tuesday.
If you do
just go out and buy her something.
If you do something that shows that you've thought about it beyond when you two have been talking about it, that's what counts.
You know what's great about these two hobbies? Gaming and painting, they seem like two things that you could do together.
That's
like
true,
both independent.
And
Like she could be painting while you're hanging out playing a video game because neither one of those things
conflict
with each other.
Which is
So that's very easy thing you could do together as a couple, but separately.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Go down on her
while she's painting.
Yeah.
That's all the questions we have from this week. Thank
Without
you
a
to
doubt.
all of our patrons.
That's actually the most important piece of advice right there.
We appreciate it. Any patron is welcome to ask us any question they like. I'm sorry we didn't get to everyone's questions this week. There were too many.
We tried.
Ran out of time. Feel free to ask your question again next week. Another thread's going to go up, and
We appreciate all the questions. We've had a lot of questions lately. So, anyways, it's time to wrap up the show with the 4-player minute. Let's try and keep it brief because we've gone a little long. So, we're going to end with we're each going to say our hype, our sweat, our thank you, and our fuck you of the week. Brad, would you like to start us off?
Sure. My fuck you goes to Nintendo. If you fuck me, you have to give me at least 3 years from the release of the Switch where you don't announce another DS. I know you're gonna fucking do it. I know you're gonna do it eventually because you don't want ugly games.
Talking
on your
to you,
Switch.
Reggie.
But this is a preemptive fuck you. Don't do this to me. This is the one system future. It's beautiful. Stick to it. Stick to it, damn it. My sweat is for Drawn to Death. It's a crazy time for video games. It is a PlayStation Plus game, but David Jaffe, he loves like mechanical complexity. When he if you've ever seen him kind of develop a Twisted Metal game, he'll spend months and months and months tweaking and talking about like characters' abilities and adding really complex stuff. And it turned off a lot of people in that last Twisted Metal game.
Yeah, it did.
And Drawn to Death, I could absolutely see that Twisted Metal DNA in there. And he talks about it all the time of like, oh, there's so much like hidden like complexity and depth and stuff. I'm worried that people are like, oh, it's free to play for PlayStation Plus. It's great. It works so well for Rocket League. But Rocket League was like super accessible, super easy to get into. This game really isn't, and you got to be good at Twitch-based games to have a good time, I think, to be successful. So I'm just a little worried about this game because I still think it's a great idea. It has that Twisted Metal DNA. I think it has a really cool look to it and some really cool character designs. I hope the best, but I really am worried. My hype is for Cosmic Star Heroine. That's the JRPG I think I'm most excited about in April, believe it or not. I hope it's good and I know it's gonna be. I just I hope other people kind of share in that joy because I do think this one might be kind of special. And my thank you for the week, I'm gonna give it to Krispy, just because he's been playing not like in spite of you.
Never thank me for anything, Brad. You ungrateful bastard.
Thank you for the chips.
This is the first time you've ever thanked me for chips. You know how many times I've gone out of my way and brought you chips and salsa?
Wait, I always thank you when you bring me stuff.
You thank me. You don't thank me.
Well, I know, not
podcast.
officially on the podcast.
Nolan, please let him compliment me.
No, I'm thanking him for playing a bunch of Nier because I have not been able to, and I can vicariously live through Krispy's excitement.
You've been doing that for years.
Well, I've already had years of doing it with you guys.
Whoa, Nelly.
And he never thanks me.
No, there was a time when the only person I could get on the planet to play my Magic Clash of Heroes was Nolan. And he did it, and he loved it. He did it with the East game. I mean, I've been there with other people. You're just the newest flavor.
He's gotten old of us. He's gotten tired of
Wow.
us. Our holes are loose.
Well, I mean,
Crispy's nice and fresh.
I'm still puckering.
Don't worry, Crispy. Your
This is
time will
getting
come.
weird, guys. This is getting weird.
Jesus.
Oh my god. Nolan?
Oh, Brad's done.
Yep.
My hype goes to my new TV. I'm getting a 4K television delivered tomorrow.
Oh, I thought it hadn't come in yet.
No,
Okay.
tomorrow. It gets
Cool.
delivered tomorrow. I have gotten my sound bar, my new sound system that
Yeah.
got delivered. So I installed that I don't get to use on my new TV. But I fucking finally get to play some 4K video games. I'm excited for it.
It's exciting.
I'm pumped up. Which leads to my thank you, which goes to my old TV. Lasted me 10 years of solid service. Went out like a champ. Appreciate it.
Those Samsungs, man.
Yeah,
pretty
fucking
good. They're pretty
solid
good.
TV. And also thank you for dying, because now I get a 4K TV.
Thanks for giving me that last excuse I needed.
Exactly. Oh, dude, it had been so hard lately. Like, I kept telling Bernadette, I'm like, man, our TV's on its last legs, but I won't buy anything until it dies. And then it died, and I was like, yes!
I wonder if there's surveillance footage of how that TV died.
If there is, it would
I
show.
tripped and my baseball
Oh,
bat
this
smashed
cup
into
of
the screen.
water.
If it is,
just
it would
fell
show Bernadette
on the top of the
because
TV.
I didn't do anything to it. My sweat is for Mass Effect Andromeda. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I rented it, so I'm returning it. Do I want to buy it on PC? I can probably get it on PC cheaper than on consoles.
you'd have to start over.
But then I'd have to start over and replay everything. Chris Davis wants you to buy on PC so we can play multiplayer together. I guess I'm going to get it for the Xbox One.
How's it run on PC?
Probably pretty good. I don't know. And then my fuck you is going to go to the Coliseum and Hollow Knight. Fuck that shit. It is fucking ridiculous. It goes on for way too long, and it's just way too over the top. Like, it is stupid.
Well said.
But I love that game.
Bad dumb. All right, my hype this week is for Nier Automata. I'm probably gonna go home and play some more because
You hate yourself that much.
I gotta keep. Yeah, dude, it's. I gotta keep pulling back those layers. Figure out what the fuck is going on here. My sweat is also for Mass Effect Andromeda, not just for time constraints, but also for I don't want this to be the forgotten Mass Effect game. Like, I want this to be up there. I want to be able to get something out of this that kind of rivals my enjoyment of the original trilogy. You know? I hope it's there. So,
Well,
fingers crossed.
you'll know soon enough.
Instead of a fuck you, I'm going to do 2 thank yous this week. One thank you to DJ Wheat from Twitch for helping us out with
I was going to say
E3.
We did, yeah. I was actually going to bring that up as well. So I will address it here momentarily.
Okay. And then my other thank you, in the spirit of gratitude in this room, is thank you to you guys for 4Player D&D happening April 29th. I'm really excited about this.
About
I'm
that.
glad.
I'm gonna have to double check that date.
God, bastard dickheads. Okay, that's it for me.
All right. My hype is for E3. It's just around the corner. We can officially say, I will say right now, we will have something official to say about our E3 plans within the week. They have finally kind of come together. And that ties into my thank you. Like Crispy said, thank you to the glorious DJ Wheat here at Twitch for helping us kind of solidify our plans for E3. I think this year is going to be great. And he played a pretty big part in that, in making that happen. So we'll be more specific, and we'll be more specific about our plans probably within the week, maybe for next podcast. But in the meantime, thank you very much to DJ Wheat for helping us facilitate our plans for this year's show. Let's see. My sweat also goes to Mass Effect 1 for the same reasons that Crispy has outlined. I feel
Mass
pretty
Effect
much
1?
Mass Effect Andromeda. So that's what I meant. What I meant to say. Mass Effect Andromeda.
You mean Math Effect Algebra?
Shut up. My sentiments pretty much mirror Crispy's. I feel pretty much the exact same way. Also, I have no idea when I'm actually going to see my girlfriend again because She told
she
me
missing?
She told me yesterday that she figured out that it's going to take at least
leaving.
3 playthroughs of Mass Effect to bang everyone that she wants to bang in that game. So
She bang.
There's a joke here. I'm not gonna say it.
it writes itself, Brad. The point is,
Wait, but
write
she's
itself.
playing a lot of Mass Effect.
but who-
Okay,
is she playing? Is she playing Bro Rider or Sis Rider?
Sis Rider,
So who's she gonna bang?
everyone.
Are you,
Pretty sure-
are
I'm
you
pretty
threatened
sure
by any?
Everyone
I'm pretty sure-
except
Are you threatened by the characters in the game?
No, I'm just
have
saying.
you ever seen a Krogan penis?
By the way, was anybody else weirded out when they met that Krogan on the Nexus, and the female Krogan, and she
Yeah.
talked like a
Like a
lady?
female?
like a person?
Yeah.
Like when she opened her mouth, started talking, I was like, that does not sound
it
like a
wasn't
Krogan.
deep and gravelly.
Yeah, it did not sound. Yeah, you know what I mean. It was weird, but I got used to it pretty quickly. And
Rider.
my fuck you of the week goes to just kind of in general this this
Goes to
clusterfuck of not that there's not criticisms to be lodged in Mass Effect Andromeda. There certainly are, but there are a lot of people who have just been like
Take it way too far.
take it way too far and like they've already kind of made up their minds and just they like Brad said earlier, there's a lot of people going into this who were just prepared, ready for it, just
And-
had already decided it was going to be
Knives
shit.
out.
You know what I did, Nick? Everyone was shitting on it and saying it was horrible, and I checked it out and I was like, hey, this isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Those people were wrong.
I just want there is value to be found even if something is not maybe perfect or living up to the the standards that, like every sequel can't be better than the original. That's just never going to happen. But I get the criticisms. In fact, I agree with a lot of them. I'm just saying kind of fuck the people, the bandwagon negativity, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I hate that shit. But yeah, that's it. That's our show. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you guys for being here. Maybe we'll do this again next Thursday.
Next week, maybe.
Maybe.
I'll try and pencil you in.
Yeah. So, of course, in the meantime, 4playernetwork.com is the website. You can watch us broadcast games every single night, on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/4playerpodcast. That's all spelled out. Or 4pp.tv. Same thing. And yeah, that's it. Anything y'all want to say in closing? No?
Discord.gg/4player.
Oh yeah, join our Discord. If you're new or if you've been listening for a while and haven't joined yet, you can find our Discord at discord.gg/4player. It's a very active Discord. We have a lot of people in there all the time. We're chatting with people on a daily basis about whatever the fuck. There was some weird ass conversation about donuts versus licorice today. I have no idea.
Glazed donuts is the only way to go.
Glazed donuts is the only way to go.
Versus
But
licorice?
the introductions channel on our Discord turned into a debate between donuts and licorice. I don't understand, but that's the kind of shit you can have in our Discord. So please
If it
check
ain't
it out.
black, it ain't licorice.
I'm gonna go ahead and end on that note because I don't know how to respond to that. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.